Okay, let's see what we got. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? How's it going, everybody? What up? How's everybody doing? So to clarify what happened, um, I was supposed to have my, Japanese tutor lesson today, but I made a mistake and I scheduled it on the wrong day. So, like the obviously skilled scheduler I am, I was like, oh yeah, now all of a sudden I have like a free 2 hours. What do? I'm gonna do a live stream. What could possibly go wrong? Um, I'm supposed to be doing this anyways because this is one of the Patreon tiers. So this is one of the Patreon rewards that I got. So I'm doing it anyways because I kind of have to. I promised it. So here's my terrible Patreon. Uh, here's my terrible Patreon bonus that I promised backers that I'd do. But I know it's a really inopportune time for a lot of people, so I apologize for that as well. But yeah, let's sort of get this, sort of get through the thingamabob. Ooh, sorry. Hey, Zen, how's it going? How's it going, Zen? Oh, my back. 15 people. 15 people at like 12:45? That's pretty good, actually. Thought it would, whoa, 17 people. That's even crazier. Nice. What up? Ichiko Aoba is a gift to this earth. Oh, snap. That's cool. Yeah, how's I don't know. I don't have anything else to add. How's everybody doing so far? Oh, snap. Cool Whip. I don't really have anything to add. I really don't. Like, I'm surprised that people are still sticking around here into on this live stream, slowly trickling in. Been stressed. What are you going to college for, Rain? What's up, John? Judd? John? Mm, okay, that's cool. Psychology. Okay. So like clinical psychology? Like practicals, clinical? Um, Sestruck says, I'm not a Patreon. Yeah, no worries, Sestruck. It's like no worries, my dude. It's one of those things where I promised that people who backed me on Patreon would they would get access to a live stream hangout, because like one of the challenges that I always end up facing with like Patreon is like, people are giving me money, and so it's not very, from where I'm standing, it's not a very sort of good idea to reward them with material things, because essentially it becomes them purchasing a material as it becomes them purchasing a commodity, instead of like their money going to something useful. And so what happens is like it makes more sense for me to try and provide non-cost immaterial things to the best of my ability. And one of the things that came to my mind was a live stream hangout. But obviously the questions are, one, like how often are they gonna be, and two, like what is really the benefit of hanging out on a live stream with me, because I'm on Discord voice chats a lot, so it's like no benefit at all. But I did promise I'd have them, so I'm having them. And it makes it sound like I don't like this. It really makes it sound like I don't like this, but no, I'm actually kind of okay with it. I just don't like to do it a lot, because then it feels like a quasi egotistical move to me. I don't know.
Yo.
Let's see here. The time is actually pretty good for European viewers. Nice. Let's see.
Hell yeah.
Here. Oh, hey, Jacko.
Oh.
Let's see.
Wait, who else joined? Is that Poop?
Hello.
Oh, that's
all
not.
right.
Oh, hello.
That is Poop.
Oh wait, that is
Okay,
Poop.
I'm trying as many blind random as I can. See if I can roll a nomad. I did it on third try. I have no idea what happened, but it just happened.
Did you just roll nomad on blind random again right now?
Yeah.
What?
I just keep rolling for blind random on by creating
a
multiplayer section. I just did it on third try.
Wow.
I have no idea what happened.
Your blind random is so broken. What?
But I actually smashed my glass because of that. I was so pissed.
Okay. If your blind random's just broken like that, then sure. I mean, we can just still do that game now. That's just very weird. I get that checked, like with a doctor, a professional of some sort. Maybe you should install a mod for it. Maybe there's a patch.
I don't know. Maybe it's actually mega random because it's a new patch.
Mega random. Oh, I see.
Yeah, because it's the latest.
There's a patch for blind random that makes it roll every location. Can it roll mega random then if you do that? Because that would be a really bad idea. Because just someone starts with a siege on you.
Because I don't see any blind random on the wiki anymore because it's replaced by mega random maybe in the Rise of Raja mod patch now. So that's my explanation for the whole thing, I guess. Okay. I'm still very, very pissed, so I gotta chill out. I'm gonna take a
That's fine then. I'll still take it as a counter game.
I'm gonna cut myself.
I mean, like, if we were doing things really properly, our first two games shouldn't even matter because you didn't actually beat Genshi before. So we should still now just do a best of one anyway. It doesn't change anything. But cool. That works out.
I don't know. I just feel like throwing my guns and then you insult my honor, sir. Like doing that kind of thing right now. I get where Marx comes from, dueling 21 times.
My God.
Should we do a game now? Actually, I'm getting a bit pumped up.
No. We don't want we don't know how many people listening to us actually care about AoE. It'd be kind of selfish. We can wait.
Okay.
Also, I
haven't
been up for long as well. I've had a line.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm just play against an AI and blow off some steam. See you later, boys.
This is a good idea.
All right. Have fun,
All right.
Poop.
What were we talking about before AOE? Shit, what?
I don't know what you guys were talking about. Let's see here.
What's in the chat?
What's in the chat? Let's see. Getting into psychology, very interesting fantasy versus reality. Louise Alman. Well, Smokeman says, we got any math boys in here?
I had a dream last night that I was failing a maths exam, which was really weird because I finished my finals and I don't do maths.
Rip.
So I had to like double check myself. Just realized those two things when I woke up.
We can get we can get Gene in here. He's a math boy. Lee Bauman says, do you have a waifu? Not really. I don't. What about you, Jekko, the only other person in this
You've
chat?
read all these isekai and you don't have a single waifu from them?
No.
Are you missing out?
I don't.
Wow.
I don't.
I'm not. I don't know myself. Like when I was just getting into anime and manga, there's a character from Hayate the Combat Butler.
Okay.
Called Isumi. I can't remember her surname because it's been ages. But she was like the first character that I registered as kind of. Whenever you appear in the manga, I'm just happier. Like I have no idea why. I just am. So I registered that as maybe that's what it means to have a waifu. But I've since completely forgotten about her, so I don't think I have much of a commitment to her. So either I'm just a bad husband, or she's not really my waifu. I'm leaning more towards the former at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know.
I see.
No one talks about Combat Butler. No one cares about it anymore. It's weird because it's a great manga. It's really good, like farce.
The mangaka has a new series. It's
really?
I don't remember the name. It's called Tonikaku something. It's actually I'm reading it right now, which is kind of unfortunate that I don't remember the name of it. It's quite nice actually. It's about a guy who like becomes infatuated, who falls in love with this girl, and then what's the popping noise? Someone join?
Yep.
Hey, Money, Bristo, what up?
Yo.
Hello.
20. I was gonna check it on my anime list, but my anime list is down for maintenance. This is like taking a million people off life support.
It's Tonikaku Kawaii. And so essentially the story is like a guy, when he was young, he gets infatuated with this girl, and like he doesn't see her for like 8 years or something. And then after like 8 years later, she shows up on his doorstep, and she's just like, let's fulfill the promise that we made. And the promise was like, the promise was that like, what did he say? He said when he was young, he asked her out, and she said, I won't go out with anybody unless it's with the intent to marry. And so he's just like, well, let's just get married. And so she comes back, and they get married. And you think that there's like some sort of like grand conspiracy behind this, but no. All of a sudden, it just turns into this like young couples manga where it's like them just trying to figure out what it means to be a young couple. And I'm just like, this is the plot twist I wanted. I don't want these grand personal conspiracies. I just want some contrived series of setups so then they can just become a young couple. I'm just like, this is what I want.
Yeah. When I was reading Hayate, I managed to get lots of paper copies because my library just had the series for some reason, which was really nice. Like reading manga on paper is so much nicer than on a screen. It gives you that kind of screen break for my eyes. God, I need more of those in life.
All right, let's see. Oh my god.
You know what would suck? Learning Japanese on your own. Wink, wink. That's what I'm about to do. Why am I being called out here?
Yeah, learn Japanese on your own.
Now I'm done with uni. I finally have the ability to start doing things I want to do that aren't an English degree, like learn Japanese.
I feel like that's what Brian is doing as well. Because the title of my live stream is I scheduled my Japanese lesson. I misscheduled my Japanese lesson or something.
Oh yeah, messed up schedule or something.
Yeah, messed up schedule. Yep.
See, yeah. I don't even have it. My life aesthetic is to not even have a schedule. Therefore, I can't mess it up.
今日は私が日本語のレッスンがあるはずでした。
Smokeband has asked twice now how long you're going to stream.
The answer is probably until my headset runs out of battery power. But the realistic answer is until I'm just like, oh, shit, I gotta get back to work.
I like how neither of these are useful to him at all.
Yeah. They could go on.
Wait. Oh, sorry, Poop. Have you seen in Plateaus, Poop actually broke his tablet.
Oh, shit.
Because what have I done? I accuse the man of foul play and he breaks his tablet in response.
Oh no, Ripperoni Poop.
Thank God. I'm not buying him a new one. That's not how this works. But now, if he actually beats me when we play our next game, I could say afterwards that, oh, you know, it was I went easy on you because you broke your tablet. I wanted to be nice. That's my get out of jail free card now. If I lose.
That's a pretty scummy option selecting there.
Either I win or I lose, but I'm being nice. Hey.
We'll come back in an hour. Hope y'all stuck in over here. Have a nice stream. All right, see you later, Smoke Man. So, Marty, how's it going?
Okay. How about you?
Not bad.
I finally saw your Shadows of Fukushima video after like several months delay.
Oh, okay.
It's very good.
2 months.
Several months. I don't know how long it's been. I remember you tweeting about like how bummed you are about the low view count, and I was like, oh shit, I kept putting it off.
Yeah, it's like that video took a lot of planning to get together.
Yeah.
So like it was a little unfortunate. It just didn't get the traction that I had hoped it got.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like I was trying to have like a cake and eat it too moment where I was just like, I'm not going to resort to clickbait. The content will ride itself, and it totally didn't. I was just like, oh shit.
You misread on YouTube.
Yeah, you know, and here I am, you know, some here I am, some asshole who's just like, I refuse to use clickbait. Why are people watching my video?
It's still better than when you're like when you have a million views like someone like Giga, but on your recommendations it's just the anime crack compilation like joke videos. Like, no, I'm definitely watching some content. I love Giga, but it's what happens if you overdo it. Then people just get redirected. Oh, you do after your like really serious analytical video, then they just start watching anime characters say the N-word and it's apparently funny. Sort of things. Those things are not good. Not at all.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like my content feels like it's at like at a titling crossroads now. Like, you know, I think Shadows of Fukushima really like drove the nail in, which is just like, okay, I either gotta accept the seemingly necessary nature of like reeling people in with the title, or I gotta stick to my guns. And I'm just like, I'm gonna stick to my guns. It's probably gonna be the worst decision.
Which kind of media is the message thing, I guess. Like YouTube, if you want to get like people just having the stumble upon factor, you kind of. This is my dilemma. Where now I'm gearing towards learning video editing, learning all sorts of other things, and towards doing a YouTube channel. How do I want to do that? And I think I do want to have these titles that grab people. But there's the option within the video itself of sort of having a kind of subtitle or a secondary title, or like just ignoring the title you gave the video itself, and you can still give your content an actually interesting title at the start of the video. You just don't put it as the title of the video on the platform because it won't attract people. Like it's too long. So it's possible because once someone's been watching something and there's some like slightly nice music in the background for 10 seconds, it's harder for them to say, I'll just immediately go away because that title's long or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I chose my title because my fundamental mantra is like, I'm going to make videos that I want to see. So
yeah,
these are the kind of videos I want to see. So I'm gonna make them like that.
That's what I've been doing. Like my every blog article is just like, no one writes about this. I want to see something written about this. Yes, I should write it. 2 weeks later, I'm finally done. It's yeah. What you could do is what some academics do with their books, which is just a couple of years or few years down the line, just re-release old things, but with like an added section, like a small like 2-minute extra section of the video, and that justifies the entire re-release of the video.
Well, I mean, that re-release happens because like they spend like years.
I know.
They spend like years on like one subject.
You could still do it. You can get away with it. You can get away on YouTube with thumbnails that advocate people to pirate things, and you can get those videos monetized. So you can get away with anything on YouTube. Those thumbnails do give me cancer as well.
Okay, let's see here. Where are we at so far? Ooh, this is.
I think the most views you've got recently are on Contours of Lolicon, which is good because it's like one of your longest videos.
Yeah, I think it's like just very SEO friendly because the more you type in Lolicon, it's like one of the first things that'll show up.
Yeah. If you type in lolly, you first get lollipop, and you get lolly rock, you get lollipop song, then you get lollit salex. If you type in lolly and then C, you get lollicops. You can't actually type in. You can't get recommended the word lolicon. It's censored. Huh. That's interesting.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, Brian says it was calling out how Joe and then nothing else. I'm in suspense. Brian, you gotta add on to that, my dude. I'm in suspense. What do you mean?
Or maybe he misspelled how and meant to write Joe, so he was calling out you rather than me. I mean, I don't know him, and I don't think he knows me. That's why it was kind of weird if he was calling me out.
Learning Japanese on your own, wink, wink. Let's see here. Second last says re-release the same video with clickbait until it works.
Which is more difficult, content or editing?
Video content or video editing? Well, like video editing isn't difficult. It's
time consuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I would say that, like, I don't want to say good because then, like, it equates labor with quality, and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
I would say, like, video editing. I would say you have to be patient, I think. Like, because like, it's not, video editing is not difficult. Like, it's not difficult. Video editing is, anybody can pick up video editing. Anybody can work with
This
a
is
lot
really
of video
good news
editors.
for me.
There's a million tutorials by 12-year-olds on YouTube. There's like a cottage industry of like 12-year-olds on YouTube showing you how to do things. I'm just like,
how to do your video editing within Minecraft.
Well, you know, like everybody who's like everybody who like video edits has probably, or at least everybody who's video edited in like AnyTube has probably at some point has probably done this, where they're just like, how do I do this effect? And so like they look it up on YouTube, and then like the video that they come across that's actually helpful is some kid who's like 14. He's like, hey guys, okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do this in Adobe Premiere. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It's always some sort of like, they're always using some sort of like Counter-Strike montage footage. And it's like, okay, so what you're gonna do is, and then they're like, at some moment, at some time during the video, they're going to inexplicably minimize, and then you're gonna see like the Alienware like wallpaper. Like, this is a thing. This is a thing. I've seen it happen so many times. It's happened to me so many times because I'm just like, how do I do this? I don't remember how I do this. How do I do this? And it's like, oh, thank you.
Thank you, 14-year-old
boy.
When I did a work experience placement at my dad's, before he left the company, worked at like a telecoms company as like a software engineer. And I joined his team for 2 weeks, and I had some coding experience, but no coding experience of what I was going to code in. And it was like, oh, that's fine, just learn as you go. And I was just working on this small project that no one else could do on the team. And the company rule was, or at least the team rule was, in his part of the company, was, if you don't know how to do it, Google it. If you can't find it from Googling it, ask another team member who doesn't seem to be too busy. After that, Google it again. You do a cycle. And it just works. Like, I learned everything I needed to code quite complex like procedures for like this. It's like a new member of the company integration sort of like thing for their sort of spreadsheeting and databasing of people. Fun. Boring fun. But I learned everything just off mostly Google searching and occasionally just going up to this like strange 30-year-old woman who looked really in depth with something. I was like, I don't know what this does. And her having to explain it to me. It takes like 5 seconds for her to, and I'm just feel embarrassed. But I get something done.
Yeah.
That's something like in the video editing scene. I think it's going to be so it is so normalized that people just you look for help like that. But I feel like elsewhere, like in terms of like content, we're going to divide between editing and content still. The actual content of how people write scripts and how they consider laying out the material before it's editing. There isn't too much actual discussion, I feel, of like the pros and cons of good things about doing that. We're kind of in this culture of like, we're just like how Digibro said, like, if you've got a blog, just get a microphone, record yourself, slap on some anime clips. There you go, you got a video. And people are like just putting out their like video essays, we call them, these like recorded scripts, and they're just putting them out there to then get feedback from people and talk to people. But there's no process before that where they're like, it seems like they're trying to work out, well, what's the best way to write a script or argue my point, which is why you get these like 30-minute long videos that could have been done in 4. Those really hurt me. Yes, I'm talking about Mother's Basement.
I haven't seen a Mother's Basement video in a while. I haven't seen Jeff's videos in a while.
It makes sense because they're so long unnecessarily. To even see part of what I feel like I'm just committing myself to what's going to end up afterwards being like, nothing.
Let's see here. Yeah, so I would say like, to get back to Aaron's question, because we never actually answered the question. We're just like, Video editing.
It's the kind of constructive discussion you have. If someone asks a question, you make just like a talk about it and around it. You don't fully answer it because you want them to fully answer it from the discussion you just had.
It sounds like a Makoto Shinkai Q&A.
Yeah.
I've watched so many Q&As with Makoto Shinkai, like for that Shadows of Fukushima video, which is why I'm also kind of annoyed it didn't get as much traction. But like his answers are always just like, this is not very helpful. Like, I want to try and like capture this feeling about like this like feeling, but like if you have a different interpretation of it, that's also good because I feel like I intended for you to like have that feeling too. I'm just like, okay, this is not helping me at all. This is not clear.
Maybe he's trying to counter this kind of mindset people have, where they just want the the director. Especially like people overseas looking at anime directors, it's most discussion of them seems to be like they must have one idea about their work, and that is the idea. That is now the meaning of the work, sort of stuff. Classic sort of like pre-death of the author kind of style discussions. When we're like very post-death of the author now, way beyond bar. There's much more interesting things to talk about. Yeah. Maybe he's picking up on that. Maybe it's
annoying. I was watching this documentary from like NHK released sometime in like the 90s. I think it was after like Eva was produced. It was like Hideaki Anno teaching a bunch of 12-year-olds about animation.
Yep.
And like there was this clip where like any question they asked him, like his answers were like really curt, and when like the film crew asked him why he was like that, he was just like, oh, well, if they don't ask me any more questions, then I'm just not going to answer anymore.
Yeah. Which
I don't know if that's his way of like provoking discussion. I don't know if that's what Shinkai's doing, but
once again, I will fight Charles Dunbar. I will fight him. I set up that Twitter. I tweeted at him multiple times. He never got back to me.
Oh yeah, he still hasn't got back. That's wow.
He hasn't gotten back to me.
Who was the other guy? Who was the guy who made the video on Tezuka again?
Oh, Alex Myers.
Yeah, has Alex Myers gotten back to you at all?
So I messaged. So like at the New Year's Eve, right? I messaged Alex Myers alongside like a bunch of other people. So like. A lot of people probably already know, hanging out with me in Discord probably already know that like my goal is to try and be as friendly and open to people as much as I can, to the best of my ability. But on the flip side, if I like, I'm the kind of person where like, if I hate you, I really hate you. There's no in between. There's no gradient of. And Alex Myers is one of the people that I ran into where I really did not like him. Because he made this video about Tezuka. And so there's a lot of people that like, you know, like there's a lot of people that like at moments I don't agree with, or there's a lot of people that like do things that I don't really like. Like I don't agree with Econ on like his point on a lot of his points, for example. But like I think he's an entertaining dude for the most part. I think his perspective is interesting even if the propositions he sets out aren't the things that he and I agree on. You know, it's just fundamentally things. And the same thing with Goat Jesus. Goat Jesus is like one of those people where like I know where he's coming from. I know like the sort of like, for example, when he first released his Ghost in the Shell script, and then he was like talking about Mauve, and then he was like talking about like the issues he had with like the gays.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like the framework in which he had these issues. I was just like, this sounds very, very similar to Karl Popper's falsifiability. And then boom, like 2 paragraphs right after that, he talks about Karl Popper's falsifiability. So I was just like, okay, so I know the headspace he's trying to work with. and so like I don't have to agree with it, but I do understand where he's coming from in a lot of instances, and so like even though, for example, he and I might not agree about about Kimi no Nawa, at the very least, I understand why he disagrees on some level.
I am the reason why. I'm at least a large part of the reason why he's still private on Twitter. By the way, that's my fault. Because I criticized him once, just some stuff. I was like, I don't think your treatment of like the way you approach females got like feminist scholarship in this way, like you just isolate Morvi, you don't put it in the wider discussion. Like there's been so much there's just so much weight now added to gaze theory, and to just isolate Morvi and then to respond to it. It's like there's so many more productive ways to approach ideas of gazing, especially when we talk about Japanese animation, Japanese cinema in various ways. But he got back to those criticisms like something like 2 weeks late, and apparently he hadn't seen the date of them. But he finally got back to them, and he started like jumping on me for it. And I was like, I don't really want to talk to you about it right now. It's been 2 weeks. I don't really care anymore. But he just kept pressuring on, and at some point he started insulting my mental health.
Yeah, that's rough.
That wasn't fun. So I just sort of like got angry about that. I was the one. I brought up the fact that I was. This is why I was doing my dissertation, and like stress hell, I guess. So I was like, I did not want to. I don't want to. I'm just so burnt out from maybe it was right after I'd handed in my. I think it was right after I'd handed in my dissertation. I was hyper burnt out on academia. I just needed like a month or so to pick myself back up, and then I go into finals revision. That went fine, but during that time, I was like, I can't deal with academic stuff. Right, it just fucks my head. And he was just like, well, you're just backing out. You're such a coward. And he just like kept wailing it on, and I was just like, this is just annoying now. And then he got really angry about it, and I got angry like back on my side because I was pissed off because someone's insulting my mental health. You bring it up. I was trying to bring it up as a way of him like saying, okay, can you just be sensitive? Like you're 2 weeks late, and I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay.
But then after that, he apparently felt really bad about it himself, about what he'd said, and he didn't know where to go from there. I talked with a friend, like a mutual friend between me and him about it, and it was just sort of like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't know where to go from there either. Like, I'm just not going to talk to him anymore. He doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone outside his circle anymore. That's fine. But yeah, anyway. Anecdote.
All right, so let's see here. Yeah, so what was it? Where was that? Oh yeah, Alex Myers. Yeah, so
yes,
Alex Myers is like one of the people where I was just like, I really hate this guy. And it was like purely based off of like his Tezuka video. Like it was such weird, strange, like nonsense. And I was like, oh, I hate it so much. I hate it so much. And like, I left a comment, and then like, what was it? It was something. I did something, and then he like, I did something, and then he said like, he said something on Twitter, which was just like, people are too he was just like, people are too focused on like people are too focused on like cutting other people down instead of working on improving their content. And I was like, God damn. And so like that really set me off. But New Year's Eve, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be nice to the best of my ability. All rights reserved. And I was like, so I messaged Alex Meyer and I said, hey, I was the guy who left this really long comment, and then I was the guy who tweeted out how annoyed I was about your video and your ideas. But I do want to apologize. I want to apologize. And he wasn't the only person. He wasn't the only person I messaged. But it was pretty much like everybody who I actually hated. So, if you did not get a message from me on New Year's Eve, then I do not hate you. But he did. he did get a message from me, so I messaged him, and he was like the only person that I messaged who responded back and said, "Yeah, no worries, it's cool." And I was like, "All right, we're okay. I think we're good." So I still haven't watched his content after that, but like I don't hate him anymore. So yeah.
Damn, I didn't. I only knew up to the part where he was tweeting about you being a smaller channel trying to stir up drama, and
that was
calling you a weeb channel.
Yes, the weeb channel.
Some weeb channel is
some
like
weeb channel.
Of all the channels to call some weeb channel,
just some weeb channel.
Oh yeah, like with econ, like for me, for instance, like I used to be in the position where I was like caring a bit more about econ stuff, but my recent run-in with his stuff to do with Darling in the Franxx just maybe like in the comments, Roger was responding to him, and then econ was responding to Roger, and econ starts throwing in all these generalizations, and he seems to like accidentally stumble upon all the generalizations that I have studied quite a lot during my degree here. So he talks about medieval like sword iconography in relation to genre theory and a bunch of other stuff, and that's like reading that comment for me was just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my god, and it hurt me a lot. And I filled out the max comment. You know, there's a character limit for a comment.
Yep,
I filled it perfectly.
Yep, I filled out the max comment when I left a comment on Manime Matt's video.
That one, yeah.
I was just like, oh no, I can't type more. Well, you know, I think I sufficiently got my point across, I think. And I just submitted it. Yeah, you know.
It was the weirdest mix for me between, like, I was actually, like, really annoyed that someone was talking about these really interesting things, like, things I'm really interested in studying, in such a crude and crummy way, in order to try to back up their point about saying that certain shows involving these giant robots aren't actually mecha shows, because he defines mecha by the purpose of the story rather than any kind of like content to do with something that we, you know, is mechanical somehow. He does the mental gymnastics for that. I was at the same time really annoyed, but also like really pumped. Like, yeah, I don't get to like think so hard and pull together like my thesis on why these things matter. So I respond back talking about like why, like, because he argued that the mecha genre is like medieval sort of stories with a sword. You could replace the sword with anything else. It doesn't change the story. And that's like complete bullshit when you look at medieval sword iconography and the history of it. There's the point why there's a reason why they use the sword so much. I responded to that, but I ended the thing by saying, because I wanted to be fully honest, because my main contention with him was that he was talking about all these things, and he would say things like, "I'm sure many academics would agree with me," or "I'm sure most academics would agree with me." He doesn't cite any. He hasn't actually read any at all.
Like
he talks about them. He talks about them as if they would agree with him. I ended the comment by saying that if you choose to immediately respond to this comment, like to immediately like, you know, argue back or whatever, or so on, I'm just not going to read it, because my contention here is that you're not like studying these things, but you're talking about them. If you were to respond later, I might read it, but of course, like, he responded within like a few hours, so I have not read his response.
Okay.
Off principle. I just don't care.
I like talking to Econ for the most part. He, you know, I don't always agree with him, but he does bring up some interesting stuff. It's I do feel like there are sometimes a little bit of like sifting that has to happen. Like, there are parts where I'm like, I don't really agree with that, or just like, that's a sort of an interesting stretch, but still a stretch. But like, there are you know, there's usually something interesting in there. And like, to be fair to him, he is, I guess you can consider him as part of AnyTube now, but like, he is one of the few people in AnyTube that actually makes an active attempt to read.
Yeah, this is why I found it annoying to read him talk about things which he hadn't read about. Just like,
Okay.
But again, yeah, I'd say that maybe I'm probably like him in that regard because he has he has a wide knowledge base on a bunch of things.
Yes,
but he will sometimes talk about things he doesn't. He has that experience of having a wide knowledge base on certain things, but he will then go to talk about other things that he doesn't have that width of reading or research on, as if his general width of knowledge still accounts for his ability to talk about them, and he'll just run into these he'll say he responded once to me disagreeing with the fact he's overly formalist with, well, art is formal. I like, thank you. That's not helpful. That's just like at Oxford we do tutorials. We do these things where
yes.
when you do
Where
an
did
essay.
You go to school, Jacko?
Oxford.
Oh yes, yes, of course.
Do you wear a gown to that?
I'm
asking important questions here.
Hmm?
Do you wear a gown to that at every seminar?
Every seminar just is like the
No.
Oxford crest.
A lot of people at Oxford a lot of them look like they smoke weed or they wish they could.
We're used to let me list some of the things that are older than the entire Aztec civilization. Oxford, where I went to.
But I bring it up. Because our teaching system has exposed me to
the Song Dynasty or Oxford, where I went to.
Definitely Song Dynasty, because that's BC.
Whenever you write an essay,
what was it, Tang?
Whenever you write an essay here, you go through a process where you submit it, and then usually a day or two later, you have a meeting with your tutor for either somewhere between half an hour to an hour, sometimes 2 hours if you have a group, a couple of people coming along with you in it, rather than just one-to-one. But often it's just one-to-one, and you just have to talk through your work, and they will press you and ask you questions, and so it's a live sort of academic feedback thing from an expert sort of in your field or what you're talking about. So you get, I've had group tutorials where I know there are some people in my year who are very good at bullshitting. They don't do the reading, and they admit to the fact they don't actually do any of the reading, but they're good at twisting around what someone says to them in a way that it seems like they're answering it or creating an interesting response, but all they're doing is just playing around with words. And that's the impression I've sometimes gotten from the way Econ talks back. If you bring him into any kind of field where he's not familiar with, he will just he'll try to twist it, just twist what you say in a way that makes it seem like he knows what he's talking about, but he hasn't. But he'll at the same time often reveal that he hasn't actually studied it at all. It's easy to it's easy to get into that habit, though. I don't blame him. And YouTube is really demanding. People are just always just trying to find ways to criticize. What is it? Gets annoyed at Goat Jesus responding too late. Gets annoyed at Econ responding too early. I think he has me there. Oh god.
Got him.
Damn it.
Oh, wow. Oxford is older than the Magna Carta.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Oxford is 1049, Magna Carta is 1215.
Wow.
It's very ironic that the tutorial that Jacko talks about is a completely Germanic system. Ordered from Berlin.
Jacko, technically, you're from the Berlin School of Education.
It's from the oldest university in the English-speaking world. Wow.
The German model is first introduced at the University of London, then finally, grudgingly so, adopted by Oxford and Cambridge.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. Jod Singh. Okay, let's get through the comments here. Jod says, you can have both good titles and good content. Just give anticlimactic like Adam Neely. He has titles like "Does music that have meaning?" and then the thumbnail, it's no. Yeah, I've seen some of his thumbnails. And it's I just don't like them. I don't know. I'm just onto that. It's just it's not the thing that I particularly like. But I do think it's clever, nevertheless. Thomas Flores says, "How do you decide what anime series you talk about to show your points of thought?"
Is it isekai? Is it the first question that pops into your mind?
Is this isekai? The answer is yeah. There's a flow chart. It's just like, is this isekai? Yes or no? If it's no, why not? And then like it invariably just leads back to, is this isekai?
You gotta do those style of thumbnails where you just like take a show and then make a video title, is this isekai? And the entire thumbnail is just a picture of a massive no. That's it.
No.
Joe, the litmus test of isekai. Yes, that's your title now.
Is this isekai? これは異世界ですか?
Isekai or isenai?
That's a good one.
That's a really good pun. Yeah, one day I'll just make a video. It'll just be titled Isenai. It's like, that's it. It's all it
Man,
is.
you know what, Joe? You should consult us to come up with good titles.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I like the code response.
The Dash and Scan says, I hope you learn to invert your face soon. I don't know what that means. Joel says, hello. Easy says, it can be tedious until the last bit of it. Yes.
Can be. I like on Hangouts how because everyone else has like an avatar face, but you just have pause and select, but it doesn't show select, so it's just pause and then there's a pause. I think this is very meaningful.
Yes. It's algorithmic ideology. It's algorithmic ideology, my dude. The system has already controlled me as a subject. Somebody get Wendy Chun in here. She'll explain it all to us.
Yeah.
And I love Wendy Chun's work, but it's like it can go places that I'm just like, this is interesting, but I don't know how useful this is. Like where she's talking about like, what was it? There was one excerpt I remember reading in Program Divisions where she was just like it's an interesting point she makes, which is that like the idea that when somebody plays a game like, for example, like Super Mario, and then they jump, and then there's like that sense of acceleration, people don't think about the purposeful like mapping of reality that acceleration is supposed to mimic to create this sense of like feeling. But like but then she's just like, and that itself is a demonic interface. I was like, I know where you're going with this, but just I had to explain to like students in my seminar like what she meant by demonic interface, and they were all just like, oh no, this seems just kind of wordy. I'm just like, oh, I like this.
Some of my favorite memories of university is really like top of their game academics having to explain to me seriously, because we need to be considering their ideas at least first, and sort of like a variety of possibilities of ways of going about them. Explain to us academics that like in like an hour at least we'll just realize, wait, this is total bullshit. But they have to still like take us through that process of considering these kind of. There's a lot of bad writing on medieval stuff. Good grief! Like the academic that argues that the poem about figuring Jesus Christ as a warrior is actually a rape analogy.
Nice.
I want to hear more about it.
It's not a good essay.
Laid me in.
Well, I could just find it for you.
This is my live stream. Jacob, make your own YouTube channel.
I still have it bookmarked. Okay, let me give us.
Hit me.
Let's see here. Easy says people can forgive some shoddy editing if the scripts or ideas are strong enough. It's great to balance both, but ideas or scripts are more important things to improve. I think so. Yeah, I mean, like we're hitting like the very sort of like flashy video edit, like essay editing glut, where everybody's doing like all these like really smooth like movements and all this kind of stuff, but like what they're saying is just not that useful or not that interesting.
Research is paid won. Why am I not surprised?
Ha!
Just use that Sci-Hub, my dude.
I'm using it.
You've got the title now, at least. You got the title. Oh, I was talking about this yesterday. There's so much of anime YouTube, which is because it's come out of that Digiverse sort of like just just record yourself saying your scripts and get someone to edit some clips onto it, sort of stuff. That it's just about like putting your thoughts out there, and no one's really caring whether those thoughts are like add anything to the discussion. What's the analogy? I called it once like it's a game of like intellectual pass the parcel.
Oh, okay.
Where everyone there's an idea, and everyone's going to share in like talking about it at some point, but they don't do anything with it. They just pass it along. The fact that they're talking about it is important because the parcel must be passed along. But the only really something interesting happens occasionally where the parcel stops. Someone actually stops the momentum of it, which takes effort because it naturally feels like you just keep going around with it. But you have to stop at some point, and then you can start to say, okay, how do I take off a layer of this and expose something new? And if everyone's paying attention in this community, then once someone's taken something off the parcel, then the parcel is now like a layer less. It's more exposed in some way, and then it gets passed around like that instead. And this is like a really like over a generalization, I guess, of this kind of practice because it like assumes that there's this like monolithic core ideal of something that everyone's just trying to get to. But in practice, that's a lot of what anime YouTube tries to do anyway. So I don't think it's too far fetched.
Okay, leotard.
There's one way to
got bamboozled. Got bamboozled by French structuralism.
No.
Okay, let's see here.
I love how like anyone else who knew what they're talking about, like any good student of philosophy would explain that through like drawing there's this framework he introduced, and I equate it to when I was 10 years old I played Pass the Parcel. So I'm going to compare it to that.
That's like a very like Frederick Jameson move.
You see, there you go.
Like
just bring it.
Like that's a very Frederick Jameson move because like there was something that Jameson said which was roughly like I think Monty or Poop might know Jameson more than I will, but
no.
Okay, never
mind. I've read about him.
I'm a psychoanalysis guy.
Lay me in.
So like one of the things that Jameson said was just like it roughly paraphrasing is just like if you're going to introduce something like new or there's like if you're going to introduce something new or like really like shake things up, then that's where you bust out like the big academic language. But if you're just going to be working off what other people have already been working off, just building off that stuff, there's nothing wrong with us using like the low languages, you know. And so
wow,
keep going. There's more to it.
Gorilla's just dropped 2 new tunes. Wow. Okay,
I'll keep going, Joe.
Sorry,
keep going, Joe.
No, I'm just gonna end it there. And if anybody wants more Jameson, just read his stuff.
I didn't mean to cut it. I just got really surprised.
With Kirill.
No. Do go on if you can.
Sparky says, "I've never understood the video component of video essays. I think video essays are meant to be like these very, very short things. They're getting increasingly longer, and I think they're meant to be these very short things.
There's like this belief people have, because some people like will phrase their videos like, "Oh wow, you know." My thoughts about this show are so like, you know, they're so deep and so important. This is gonna be a long one, and then they release like a 40-minute video, and I'm like, this doesn't show to me that you thought more about something just because you've made a longer video. You're just taking longer to tell me stuff.
Yeah, to be fair to Jimmy, like to be fair from Nino, he did call his videos anime editorials because that's exactly what they are. They're literally editorials in video form.
He's more conscious of what he's doing, while other people were like, "This is my 60-minute video essay." Like that's kind of a video like novella, and mini documentary
of anime
that no one asked for. You spend half of it just repeating yourself with slightly different examples.
It's only human to love how you sound smart, I guess. I mean, that's the purpose of this live stream.
What are you talking about, bro? The purpose of this live stream is because I promised my patrons that I would do a live stream, and I'm doing it right now.
Oh, damn. Bamboozled again.
I'm fulfilling my contractual obligations that I made up myself.
Hell yeah.
Institutionalize your own ego. I love that. Hit me.
I'll come after you.
What's Joel asks, what's best philosophy in media channel besides your own? I would say.
Well, I'm not a philosophy in media channel.
It's not very well phrased, but for what you're trying to go for here, like, I would recommend, even though like watching his content, I know I politically disagree with him on many things, and that's very important. He's a very politically minded channel, but I think he's very fascinating and really good at actually talking things through.
Okay, the name is
Jordan Peterson.
Shut up. Which is philosophy to you. Philosophy. What is that?
Damn, that's more powerful than I thought.
No, that Jordan Peterson is. I casually sometimes like put on Jordan Peterson in the background to do two things. One, to keep getting used to his style of rhetoric, because I think it's going to become more popularized. The way he talks, you just got to make things sound more morbid, and
You
then
need to-
you need to
just need
assert
to-
yourself like the end of the world is in 2 days, and only you know, sort of discussion.
You only need to read The Fall and Decline of Roman Empire to learn his rhetoric. And
wait. The end of the world is coming in 2 days, and you are the only one who can stop it.
Is that
Is
that Sakai? Is that Sakai?
We need Jordan Peterson Sakai. No! Wait,
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, ex-Kathy Newman, Sakai fanfic.
Dude, oh my god, we've been sleeping on Jordan Peterson this whole time. He's in this. We've been sleeping on him this whole time.
My god. But no, I also listen to him in the background just to try to catch out like entry points of where like how could you best or like respond to this sort of thing, because
Do you
he's
like
the
whipping
kind of
yourself?
rhetorician that wraps all sorts of like believable stuff in like and tucks in the sort of he's everything wrong with every single like political extremist or side for me. Everyone, but he's popular, so that's even more of a problem.
I don't know.
You
anything
remind me of
about
the guy. You remind me of the guy who get bitten deliberately by vipers or something to develop some kind of immunity to it.
What are you talking about? The process of vaccination?
Yes.
Yeah,
But with snake.
okay, that's fine. I take that as a compliment. That's a good scientific leap we made.
It's very Puritan, I think. It's like whipping yourself.
Okay. Shad Sally says,
Like,
"I love this stream."
Oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Shad.
Oh, that's nice.
And also that I'm making a comic with mechas and demons. It will be called Cerberus Soul. That's a good name
Okay.
for a comic. That's a good name. You see that in like comic titles, like tend to have this hard sell because they can all go blur into this kind of generic sort of stuff. But Cerberus Soul, you got the hell in there. You got the mortality at the same time. It's a nice blend. I like it.
Is Dark Souls a comic?
No.
Why is everything the Dark Souls of everything?
Why not?
I'm gonna.
Oh, as a moderator here, I have a message held for review. It says penis. It has a capital P, so it's technically grammatically accurate. Should I hide it? I'm gonna hide it. There we go.
I'm gonna write. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna move on. All right. Okay. So what's best philosophy? Okay, so what's best philosophy in media channel besides your own? I have no idea. I don't really watch a lot of like philosophy or theory like focused channels.
He's more
I
into
watch
the
any of them.
YouTubers.
Like my reasoning is that like if there's a philosophy or there's a theory that I want to try and learn it, I just read. I just read it. Just go ham.
Just
You like racist but against medium.
have you finished your aquatheism theory?
Oh, God damn it!
Oh, I think any philosophy in media, as you call it, any philosophy in media channels, the best thing to do is read the philosophy and use them not as a way into the philosophy, but more like a way out of it. Like after reading it, like enter how people discuss it, find how people discuss it differently. This is the work of philosophy itself. Do that. don't, because it's very easy otherwise just let the idea, like what you read in the philosophy, just stagnate. It's just like just take it and then you don't do something with it, and you'll usually like forget more of it or take less interest in more of it, and you won't find as many applications for it. That's why I really like Philosophy Tube, because he's always like, it's either like current events relevant or great works relevant sort of stuff. It's good shit. He's good.
As somebody who really likes Benjamin,
Walter.
yeah, Walter. Yeah.
Oh, I just read a work of art in the age of.
Did you just say Benjamin?
Yo,
Did you say
I said Benjamin.
Benjamin. That's my first name, so thank you.
Oh, one more step to doxing you.
Oh, Monty, how'd you like that?
A lot. I read it
so
with my
good.
book club.
It's so good.
I read the second version. Apparently there are 3 versions, and the second one's like the longest one. And there are like a whole bunch of footnotes, which I guess are excluded from like the one you can find on like Marxists.org. And that was crazy because
That's the best resource that nobody talks about.
Oof.
It was wild.
Why should I buy anything from you, Verso Books, when it's available on Marxist.org?
Let Monty talk. Let Monty talk. Come on, man.
I'm struggling to find. I'm struggling to apply it to things I watch. Just because that was the first work of film theory I'd read before. I'm only really familiar with literary theory. I've never really I just started reading the preface to Anime Machine, and Lamar makes this interesting point how we've not yet come to terms with treating anime not as a text but as like an object with moving images. We've not yet dealt with the fact of how should I put this? Like, we keep treating it as a literary text and not as a set of moving images. And so this wasn't like, so for me to read Benjamin now, I'm trying to like look at things like that, but I'm struggling to find applications. I'm struggling to apply it coherently, I guess.
I feel like there's this tension between, there are 2 camps of like mistreating animation as artistic form. One camp is treating it too much as literary text. The other camp is treating it too much as cinema and just as film, and denying the difference of apparatus and sort of things like that. And
well,
it's
like the oh, sorry, did someone else want to jump in?
No, go on.
So I just finished His and Her Circumstances, or Karakano, recently, and this was something I guess this was a thought. Well, okay, here was me trying to apply Benjamin to that. Was everyone kind of knows the story about what happens with Karakano, right? Like up to episode 18, everything in like the mangaka left because she hated the adaptation. There were budgeting issues. The Pokemon seizure incident limited Anno's freedom, and so he just kind of left, right? And then the production just kind of tanks after episode 18, and you kind of like I think the next episode after that, like there's like no animation. It's like characters on popsicle sticks and stuff, and so like you kind of see the apparatus leaking out into like the production itself, and it's like Benjamin makes this remark that the whole point of film, right? Like unlike a theater, right? There's a position wherein no, sorry, let me back up, right? Like in a film, like when you're watching a film shooting, right? You're seeing all the equipment and stuff, and the whole purpose of film and editing, right, is to remove the apparatus altogether. But here in Karakano, you see the apparatus kind of leaking out into the production, right? And so it's this interesting thing where like the question I had is like, has the work lost meaning because of the apparatus leaking out? Because the whole point is to not, right? Because that's how everyone evaluates this work, right? It's like, Karakano sucks because the apparatus leaked out. But for me, it's like, okay, well, should I still treat it as a whole, right? Should I let the apparatus inform my evaluation of this as a work in itself? Because Gadamer will say, right, like we should treat texts and works as complete universes unto themselves. We shouldn't concern ourselves with what the author thinks. We shouldn't concern ourselves with I don't know, things outside the text. So these were kind of thoughts I was thinking about with Karakana.
You might find it interesting to talk to a growing friend of mine by the name of Thomas Flight. Joe knows him as well. I invited him to. I think you patroned him as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I gave him the bare minimum to get into his Discord and crash it.
Yeah, but he's great because he has a background in video editing, which means he can actually talk about film editing with some kind of knowledge basis, rather than old people just say like, "Oh, this editing was nice because it felt nice." And he did a video on David Letterman's new show. My Next Guest, I think it's called.
Right.
And and it's a good video, and there's a great discussion around it because he actually got some kind of threatening emails in response from I think one of the editors of the show that were really pissed that he was getting pissed at them, and it was weird pseudo drama that wasn't going anywhere. We were just like, why are people doing this? I just criticize it's criticism, just take it. But he criticized the fact that the camera work in that, for him, it is that thing of exposing the apparatus. It's meant to be an interview show. The focus is meant to be on the guests, and that's why in usual TV interviews you can barely tell that the camera is being put on someone at all, because it's only changing to highlight the fact that someone is communicating something interesting, and it has some very static poses. While in The Next Guest, it has these giant sweeping movements, weird angles, whoa, and there's no point at which two angles are the same. So you get this constant variation while two people are just sitting down.
The cameraman's watching too much Initial D.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally that. And it's a great video. I recommend watching the video and maybe getting in touch with him because he has great thoughts on this.
How do you spell his name?
Thomas Flight, as you would.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
His work's great in general, I'd say. Really great. Really
far are you?
Wait a second. Isn't what Benjamin refers to as the apparatus as, well, an establishment of techniques and the cinematic industry as a whole, rather than the cameras themselves?
Well, so he'll use the term apparatus in general for he compares the film actor to workers on an assembly line, right? So in general he just refers apparatus to any sort of set of actions to produce a set outcome, right? So the assembly line workers will do a certain set of tasks to produce a certain commodity. The film actor will obey commands by the director in order to produce a set of actions that will later be montaged together into a film.
Yeah, so essentially, apparatus is really sort of closer to a large system that consists of material and immaterial forces. And so the example that Benjamin talks about is for example, when you are watching a play, the play is functionally uninterrupted in terms of performance. The actors perform, and then when they stop, it's simply part of the nature of the work. But when you watch a film, an actor can perform a scene, but that scene can thus be edited in a way in which their intentions as an artistic vessel is compromised, because now we have an editor, we have sound, we have sound design, we have all these other things. And so the apparatus can involve, material things within the system, like lighting or editing, all those kinds of things. Yeah. But it can also revolve around immaterial things like the nature of cinema as a thing.
What Walter Benjamin phrases fear of apparatus is that it reduces the power of some parties involved in the production of cinema, while it's empowering a very minor party of its, say, director, editors, for instance. And that kind of placed the people under the yokes of this apparatus, thus taking away the creative power and hence the revolutionary spirits of them.
Yeah. It reminds me of there's a contention around the notion of calling anime cinema. Because this is something I sometimes call anime cinema, I sometimes don't. And
there's also a contention of calling anime cartoons.
Oh yeah, but especially cinema, because we talk about cinematic apparatus. And I'm a big stickler for like identifying anime as having a different apparatus and how that affects how we analyze its compositional structures and sort of shit like that. But at the same time, when we talk about apparatus as both material and immaterial. But there are people who are just like, you should never call anime cinema because it's not cinematic, because it doesn't come through a camera. It's not cinema. But it shares many of the immaterial apparatuses of cinema.
Are you trying
in many
to tell
ways.
me that we did not go to a place and film all that?
I know. How mind-shattering unknown.
I've watched over 700 anime, and this is news to me.
I don't know.
Wait. How do you know if you've watched only 700 if your MAL is down right now? How do you check
because
that?
I never used MAL.
I just kept track of it. This is why whenever someone tells me they watch so many anime, I just imagine them like googling, they're checking, they bookmark their MAL, they go to it, they look at the number, and like, right, at this point, I've watched 2,400 anime. There you go.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to add Made in an Abyss into there. I watched it all.
I need to watch Made in an Abyss. I finally have. I'm almost completely recovered from finals.
It's not as bad as people were saying.
What? I only heard good things. This is weird. Okay, it's even better.
The first 4 episodes, everyone was praising it, but if you look at AniTube, they were all was talking bad about it after the first 4 episodes. Wow. And when I watched it, I think AniTube just has a really short attention span. Yeah,
I hate how anime get these turning points, and then like the whole of the community will start like, you know, there's a knock-on effect where everyone sort of is influenced by everyone in some degree. There's social factors at work, so people are like, if any kind of large contingent starts saying like, after this episode it's just gotten worse, then a lot of people will just be complacent with that and just like, well, yeah, that's the truth. The show just got worse. It happened with Cabaneri. Like when Bieber was introduced, for some reason, somehow, like everyone was like, so many people on our anime and on anime YouTube and Twitter and stuff were just like, oh, the show was good, but now it's so stupid because this guy is so badly written because reasons. I'm not going to say what they are. I don't know what they are, but he's badly written. Some people will.
Other people to make videos saying it was always stupid,
and it was always it had to be always. Someone has to come in with a take. Like there's an evolution of it where this show is good, this show is now bad, this show was always bad, and then this genre was always bad.
Wait, who made the genre one?
People will do that. I've just seen that kind of. You watch these, like, it's really like linguistically, honestly. It's interesting how our anime comment threads.
Okay, Poop, what are you going to say?
Wait, what?
Well, I was just going to go back to the point of apparatus, but I guess they made a point about anime community having a really... I don't know, you made a point of anime community having a really short attention span and kind of prove your point there, so I guess it's cool. I guess it's a valuable lesson there.
No, it's...
I don't know, I want to talk about the apparatus, like, isn't the production of anime more collaborative, and the Sakugas actually have more creative inputs in that, and in that sense the power of apparatus is kind of evenly distributed or democratized even.
This is what I don't get about the Sakuga community, where they talk about particular Sakuga, like influential animators sort of thing, because they tend to just isolate them. Like, this guy did that shot, this guy did... I see almost no discussion. I try to follow a lot of it. I see rarely any discussion of... they'll emphasize the process diagram sort of things. But when
they need to read about field theory.
But when they talk about what animators work, they won't like say how this cooperates with, you know, like the people who are who composed the score, the OST for that scene, the voice actors sort of people. They won't connect these various elements of staff together in the compositional structure which the anime exists for. They'll just be like, the animator, focus on the animator. This is performed in a way because it's coincidental and annoying that on places like Twitter, for instance, if you have clips with audio, you're much more likely to get like it taken off because of some kind of copyright sort of thing or whatever. It'll get detected, so they have to like mute the clips that they show for animation, which just isolates the animation and takes the animation out of that compositional and collaborative.
Yeah, that's the gripe I got against Sakura Boru. Is that they try to isolate a particular piece in vitro, and I don't think we've seen the animation in its full sense.
Yeah, it's like talking about
leaving out the collaborative sense of it.
Yeah, It's like how an actor is a composition themselves of both their like spoken language, their way of putting across words, but also their body language and intersections between the two. And it's like, for me, like talking about an actor and only taking their voice and just like taking recordings of their voice and talking about the quality of an actor as that. If you're talking about the qualities of an animator, the animator is not only animating a scene or characters, they are animating in concordance with music, with the way, and we know the process diagrams. They have they often have this stuff to work with. So we should talk about it. We don't. We should also especially talk about how voice actors work with the animation and sort of stuff that they're shown, because they're shown it.
Is there any piece on the collaborative process or the power system inside the studio, inside the anime studio? Is there any work on that?
The Sakuga blog has this.
Yeah, like Sakuga, Sakuga Boru's blog is pretty good. There's like, if you want to talk about like the idea of collaboration within the system, then like Ian Condry's Soul of Anime, which we recently covered, kind of talks about that.
Oh, where's the get a PDF of it? Oh, PDF, sweet.
It's in the archive.
Oh hell yeah.
PDF, the best religion.
But yeah, so back to the Anime Machine, Monty. Like, how far are you into that book?
Oh, I just started. Like, I'm on the preface.
Okay. Because like Lamar does talk about that idea of like of the apparatus, because that's literally what he's focusing on, the Anime Machine.
How anime thinks technology, right?
Yeah.
He talks about trains, which is great.
Yes. Shovelbush's metaphor of the train.
Yeah. It's really ironic because I started reading that. Like, I had a tutor during my first year of my degree. We were studying Victorian sort of like literature and history. And one of my tutors just emphasized the train. The train and the impact the invention of the train and the normalization of the train in society had. And I didn't get it at the time, because I was just like, well, it's interesting, but why does everything have to be about the train? Why is literally everything come back to the train for you? And only when I started reading that metaphor in the anime scene was I really like, oh, wait, technology, apparatus, these sort of it is representative. It is that it's so important. I see. And I wish I'd read Anime Machine like even sooner, because I would have made that tutor happier, like much happier.
Yeah. Like, I think
she hated me.
Yeah,
I just didn't get it.
The train is a piece of technology that interferes and affects the way in which you think about the reality that's presented to you. So the machine becomes a vital component in sort of its own reception.
It's like when I'm playing an AoE 2 game and all my troops are
and then you get blind nomad random.
I'm still mad about it.
If I'm playing an AoE 2 game, all my troops are on one side of the map, and like football, if I had a train, everything's changed.
I still demand an apology.
You get no apology.
You wrongly accused me publicly, so sir.
I did not. It was deductive reasoning.
You have to
every reason.
You have to
I don't trust you.
Me.
No one trusts you. Okay.
Sorry,
oh, wow.
I did not do it. I did not.
I did not.
Sorry, Pooh, but you are a lowly Hong Kong man trying to wrestle an apology out of this Oxford graduate.
Damn.
I'm not a graduate yet. I could have failed my degree.
Jekko, technically, legally, Jekyll never has to actually apologize to you, because that's one of the stipulations of the Opium War.
Wow, I guess I can just tear my Durham certificate slowly. Oh, and out goes my Yale's ones too. Get out.
I mean, I guess technically, I shouldn't be saying anything, because if we're going by that line of reasoning, then I should lose to the Germans every time.
Are you trying to tell me the Germans didn't win?
Oh man! If only hit to the more mouse.
I should have lost to Genshi every time.
I'm just joking. The Holocaust never happened.
Isn't Genshi Netherlands?
God damn it! I'm trying to keep a family friendly thing here, and here you are busting out these Holocaust jokes, I'm not gonna stand it.
You talk about Germany.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You aren't getting monetized anyway.
Yeah.
It never happened anyway, so it was a joke to begin with.
Speaking of the AoE 2 tournament, though, like, so I'm playing. If I beat Poop, which if we play,
I don't want to play with you anymore, so you win. I honestly, I cannot. I concede defeat.
Okay, that's official. He said it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm playing Joe next.
Okay. In other words, you concede to the argument.
Oh God,
I don't know. I just can't have fun with him anymore if a sore loser. So he's insulted me.
No, I'm
and he's showing no remorse against it. That's what pissed me off. Anyway,
let's move on. Let's move on.
Anyway,
we got lots of stuff here. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's half of it is Sparky on PC, but this is okay. They're good.
Okay.
What do you think Cerberus Soul will be like? I have no idea.
The Dark Souls of comic.
Cerberus Soul. I don't think I've heard of Cerberus Soul.
Well, that's the thing they're working on. I have no idea. That's the exciting thing. Because
can you show us?
I have no idea.
Work in progress or anything?
Yeah, if you can. Yeah, sure.
What type of philosophy is your favorite?
My favorite philosophy is moral philosophy because you can't have right and wrong in that.
You want to know why I love your?
You can absolutely have right and wrong in postmodern philosophy. It's called Marxism. If there's anything that postmodern philosophers agree on, it's that Marxism is bad.
But what about the English school?
I think
Twitter will tell you that the only future of the Western society is to go full communist now.
Here I am, lowly scholar.
BuzzFeed writers will tell you that.
Yeah.
Here I am, lowly scholar studying historical materialism, and I'm just beset by post-structuralists and postmodernists on every side saying, "Oh, you know that we're past ideology, right?"
Yeah, we're past ideology. We're actually doing it now.
Pure energy.
But even though every time it fails, we just say it wasn't true. Blank.
Well, to quote Marx, with relegate you to the trash bin, to the dustbin of history.
It wasn't true, AnyTube.
Also, to quote Marx, you need better Patreon tiers.
I mean, it wasn't true, AnyTube.
Marx only had one true Patreon. He's called Angus.
AnyTube was supposed to join everyone together, but now it's divided everyone. There's a Shonen Tube, Sakuga Tube, Documentary Tube.
What the fuck is Shonen Tube?
It's cancer.
Dashin Scan says, "Can you gentlemen please laugh more obnoxiously? That breathy giggle is not contagious at all."
Yes.
This is something I have to get over because I've now been in Oxford for 3 years, and I want it to have not affected. I want it to have not affected the way I talk. But there will come a point where I actually fully remember how I used to talk before Oxford, and I'll realize just how much it's damned me forever now.
I didn't think Milton Keynes has an accent to it, did it?
It doesn't. Milton Keynes doesn't have an accent. I grew up with this feeling of just like I'm nothing. I have no regional identity.
People doesn't know they're black until they ship to Europe.
Yeah.
What type of philosophy is your favorite? I mean, my second favorite philosophy is Joe's aquatheism. And the only reason that's my second is because
that word is banned. That word is banned.
What about Joe's Neo Sakai?
These words are banned.
The only reason why that's my second favorite is because a few days before you got interviewed, I made something up called tree health that works in every story. So if they say that's inherent to the narrative, then they have to say tree health is also inherent.
What is tree health?
It compares trees in all of animes with each other and seeing which is more healthy. If there's no trees, that means that the planet doesn't have any trees. And thus it's at a baseline of 0 in the tree health. And if you say there has to be trees, that's there has to be tree fallacy, which because most of the oxygen comes from the ocean, not the trees.
What about stories where the existence of the tree is implied but never shown?
Well, this sounds like the one index the feminists use to analyze a film. What's it called again?
No,
there's a lot of different indexes, Poop.
No, I do go find that comment because there was one person debating me for a long time, and then I swapped to tree health, saying, "Okay, fine. Is this inherent to the narrative?" Okay. And it eventually made them either say, "Yeah, that banned word was inherent to the narrative," or tree health it is, because if one's inherent, then they're both inherent.
I think this is like, I think I escaped from all this like debates about theory. Like a lot of the games I play, they're really objective. Like then there aren't these like nebulous discussions of is this more. I play a lot of, I like strategy games. I like kind of I play some card games and I play League and so, because discussions of that tend to go, someone says, "Oh, I think this is good," and then 5 billion people will say no, and they're just right. It's just terrible.
It's objectively bad.
It's just it's a more that, like, this is like the difference between modern games journalism, for instance, and modern esports journalism. I think is a manifestation of the fact that games as like a media form / art form now have become this kind of nebulous space where people can, people can make a bad game, but a journalist can say it's good because it has these features which they want in a narrative, and it gets marketed as a better game for that. Whereas in esports, if you're an esports athlete and you perform shit, That's it. That's all there is to it. And you see esports athletes like being really objective about it, and it's really nice because some of these game journalist types like to cross over with them and try to like argue like, why don't you just have more women on your Overwatch team? And then they're all like, that's not how it works.
I don't know. I like
that
how
would make the team worse.
I like how you frame
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it.
I like how you frame objective as measuring one thing with only one vector. Yes, this house is objectively good. This dimension is really
talking about object as statements, like talking about the value of this card. Like everyone disagrees on it, but they're all like, it just the object of the card is this, and it's that kind of, and we'll come to a conclusion that it's nice like that. It's just nice feeling that things have that kind of trajectory.
Yes, collective subjectivism.
I mean, Joe, are you trying to say
are we going to climb up to the top and we're going to find out that there's been 1,000 plateaus this whole time?
Yes.
How goes your PhD on Nier?
Huh?
How goes your PhD?
Damn, it's just not on Nier. God damn it.
Wait, what? I thought it was on Nier Automata. Wait, have I been lying?
No, it includes Nier Automata.
Includes Nier. Okay. What's it
Nier Automata.
Is it about what is it about?
It's about thinking. It's about thinking about how to understand the limits of ideology through the context of apocalypse.
Oh, so it's the Karl Marx part of Nier Automata. I knew it. I knew it.
Yoko Taro is the apocalypse.
I knew it.
I like ideology as well.
It's funny because like people always think like, oh, Joe's doing like an anime, like he's doing like an anime piece.
Some weeb channel.
Some like he's doing that. It's like, no, I am a post-structuralist studying ideology in video games about the apocalypse.
Hell yeah. If your actions mean nothing, how can you live?
Video games are still in this really weird space. I was getting drinks with some people, and then we met some friends of one of those people, so I got to meet more people. And at one point they were talking sports, and because I'm not interested in any real sports really at all anymore, I just like snuck in that I like stuff about esports, and it was great because a couple of people were really interested, but they had that kind of interest where they didn't believe it still that there were games that people are competitive at, and it's just like it's just an entirely different area, even though there's so many people who participate in it, in consuming it and producing it, and there's so many kinds of expression going on, but there's still this giant swathe of the world that's just like, video games? Nah. It's so interesting that we still have
it happens
all this
to
time.
Movie, it happens to books, happens to fiction.
I guess, yeah, early days of film, there were lots of people saying like, You sit down and you watch some like movie. Nah. I got books. Nah.
It's a mere curiosity.
Yeah, it's a mere curiosity until like something bad happens, and then it's at fault.
And until testicle
some guy shoots up a school
and stuff, you know.
Let's see here.
Wait, so one more question about your thesis. Did you talk about how ideology survived the end of purpose?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Pixar films look so good, how come they never have painted textures or smear frames? Boom.
Damn.
If
they don't run on Crytek.
So good. How come they don't have their own anime?
Talking about thumbnails, do you hate color? Why are they mostly black and white?
Are you colorblind actually? Because it happens to a lot of Asians.
I'm not colorblind.
Nah, he just.
But here's the thing:
he just has
how would I even know if I'm colorblind?
Because
haven't you taken any health examinations?
No.
In your childhood?
Actually, Joe, whatchamacallit this? He just sees the world in a very black and white place.
Yeah, as a post-structuralist looking at ideology, you have to be monochromatic about things. That makes sense. That really makes sense.
What are you guys talking about? No, I'm not an analytic philosopher.
Even his thumbnails are analytical.
Oh yeah, you're very continental, being in Canada and such.
His thumbnails have more meaning than you'll ever know.
My use of continental philosophy in Canada is itself an objet petit a.
There's so much meaning in the thumbnails. Most people don't want to click on it, thus their brain be exploded.
Peace and resistance.
They'd probably just be all like, "Oh, this is
a documentary.
This is overly languid.
This is like Canapa, but turned up by 20.
Please don't give me Canapa turned up by 20. Oh my god. He unblocked me from Twitter. I think
What's the deal with Canapa?
Okay, so Dash and Scan said to whoever in the Pause Select team. I don't know what he means by team.
It's just Joe.
It's just me and Scrolls.
That's a team. It takes two people to make a team.
Oh wow! Exposed. This complete disregard of his partner. So
well, I mean, exposed. There's you, Scrolls, and then your other two accounts.
World War II Dragon.
Let's see here.
Don't forget the other account.
Amlan says Pause Selected channel isn't growing. That's true. Channel isn't growing.
It isn't? I don't know.
It's not really growing. It's growing. If it is, it's growing very, very slowly.
I have
incrementally. So
but
yes,
I feel like that comes with the territory. I guess.
I have a feeling that
check on Social Blade.
I have a feeling that Disc 147 is secretly Pause and Select's alter ego.
I'm Australian.
By the way, Joe, literally as you said that, you gained a subscriber.
Nice.
You're literally like the author of Red and Black now.
Let's see here. What are the? I'm assuming John is asking, are there Prager propaganda ads in the videos? I don't get to choose. I don't get to choose what ads are in there.
I think that's selective or advertising.
Actually,
your fault having Prager on your
I don't know what you're talking about. I get to choose which ads are on mine.
I don't get to choose mine. What the hell?
Do you live in European Union?
Maybe.
I mean GDPR. You got to choose.
Let's see here.
I have nothing but.
Joe, you're slowly growing.
Yeah. I'm slowly growing. Usually, my channel has always grown slowly. Whenever it gets an explosion of subs, it's usually because somebody makes a video. Somebody who's much more popular than me makes a video, and then someone in the comment section linked my video.
Oh damn!
Mm-hmm. That's because freaking AniTube's almost always wrong.
I gain growth through leeching off of people in the comments section.
That's sad.
I don't know. I like your golden ratio videos. Why aren't you making more of them?
I miss the days that people would randomly put my stuff on Reddit and then all of a sudden blow up.
Oh, don't worry, Poop. Don't worry, Poop. I put a video title in the production log. It's called Psychoanalyzing Ichiko 100%.
Nice. Nice.
Wait, Social Blade is really nice for this. I got a prediction of how it can we cement this and see if this comes to fruition? If you get more wallet. In 5 years, apparently, it is predicted that you will have 80,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Put it in Discord note tonight, right now. Right now.
Message to Reddit bot. Remind me in 5 years.
Do it.
What if I just...
How many thousands now? How many thousands now?
I'm at 24,000.
How many thousands? Okay.
What if
what's
I
the
just
target?
become...
What's the KPI?
What if I just start vlogging every day and get 1 million subs? And then once I reach 1 million, I say I'm doing nothing but talking about Pause and Select until he gets up to 100,000.
Joe, it's okay. Joe, I will fund you. I will flood you with Bangladesh full subscribers if you didn't make it back 5 years.
All right, here's my promise to everybody. How many people are watching right now? 39. Okay, so there are 39 people watching right now.
Plus us.
Here's my promise. It's a verbal promise, but it has been witnessed by 39 people.
It's recorded as well.
If I get 100,000 subs at all, because I don't really think I'm going to get that high. If I get 100,000 subs at all,
don't challenge me.
I will watch every video on Jordan Peterson's YouTube channel.
Oh, fuck.
While drinking a 2-4 on live stream.
How much?
This is terrifying. You're saying he'll still be relevant by then.
That's right.
Will you?
That's right. It'll never happen.
I'm buying subscribers right now.
It'll never happen. You can try, but it will never happen.
Can I make a counter bet? Because I'm going to launch my YouTube channel in the next couple of years, and I'm going to aim because I tweeted out, and you said it was an unexpected combination. My goal is to try to synthesize the way I like to think about things in depth, with a kind of passion project kind of approach that someone like Gigot puts out, where there's this accessibility to it that reeks of being a fan of something more than anything else. And that's why I like Gigot's content, because it's all about like, I'm such a fan of this. And I'm like, cool, I like that. And with like, I want to learn video editing to make it like really appealing sort of thing. So I'm going for like a kind of mass appeal / say interesting thing sort of thing that's probably going to burn and crash and not do anything. But if I get to 100,000 subscribers before Joe does, I will watch every video.
Hell yeah. Make it happen. Make it happen, Captain.
You gotta make a video to prove.
Okay, you two are not proposing like subscribers?
It has to be a marathon live stream where I sit there with camera and just watch them all. No pausing.
Okay, you two are saying that like it's not an economical problem, but it actually is, because I can buy subscribers at a small price of 550 per 10,000. So it's an economical question.
Wait,
I'm not gonna. No one's allowed to buy subscribers. That's a rule.
Aw, shit.
Aww.
It has to be organic growth, and if someone can contend that it's not organic growth, then it becomes null and void, and there's some kind of penalty game where like you have to watch all of Sargon of Akkad's videos.
Wait, I already do.
Wait, is the one accused of buying subscribers getting watched, or the channel getting accused of?
Wait, I already watched Sargon of Akkad. How's that a penalty?
So I guess my question unknown is, what do you see in him?
I don't see much in him. I just love the This Week in Stupid.
Wow. Okay.
If you watch him at 1.5 times speed, it's like an interesting kind of intellectual comedy sketch.
I only watch in ×2 speed.
Wow, ×2 is dope.
Because I don't think anyone talks fast enough. There's very few people.
I watch everything in usually at least 1.25 times speed, unless it has music in the background that becomes distorted and annoying. I listen to podcasts if I ever listen to a podcast or interviews.
No, that's the beauty of ×2 speed. Even if there's music in the background, it doesn't become distorted and such in ×2.
Maybe this is Mother's Basement secret. Maybe he knows that everyone just watches him at ×2 speed, and this is why he just takes long to talk about things, because
his secret is just repeating the points 5 times per video and then getting words wrong.
Sometimes exactly 5 times. His video on, like,
that's not an exaggeration. We literally counted 5 times per video.
He made a video on when creators make things we love, but they're shitbags in real life. And he literally had these 5 different examples. At the end of, he would just introduce everyone and just like, well, yeah, they were, they made good art, but they were a bad person.
And
let's move on. With him. And yet he barely makes any thesis, and his thesis is also so bad at the same time.
His thesis is actually thesis. Hell yeah.
The whole point of the story is because they did bad things, we shouldn't support them.
But if you give money to bad people, you're giving a platform for their badness to spread further. Like that doesn't help. But like more of if you, I slightly agree.
I don't think if you give someone who did like acts, that just makes all people that do pedophilia want to jump into the anime business.
I totally agree. Like on a personal moral level, if you can't find if you don't like the idea of supporting someone monetarily that you find is to a certain extent immoral, then that's fine. The problem is when people do this thing on social media where they have to klaxon it, not just like exclaim it, klaxon. Everyone has to hear, I am boycotting this person. No one should be supporting them because they did this and this, drama, and therefore no one should be supporting their content in any way, especially monetarily.
I think I feel like separating the artist from the art, though.
The moment anyone does that, what they don't realize is there's social capital online, and they just immediately encourage people to channel it back towards that person because that person is seen as being under attack by a boycott. And there are all sorts of people online who will just automatically say, well, because that person's under attack, I feel comfortable and nice defending someone just because they're being attacked for their character. Hey! And they get actually a subscriber boost. And that's one of the things that's happening, I think, with Jordan Peterson. Like,
how often does that happen, though? That sounds like the word.
You're not on Twitter.
I'm not. I'm glad about it.
That's every day, bro.
Every fucking day.
It's every day, bro.
Like, there was a monk debate where Jordan Peterson and Stephen Fry sort of defended, quote unquote, free speech against a couple of people. And you listen to it. Jordan Peterson and Stephen Fry, their approach talking about it, there's so many holes. There's so many sort of like weaker arguments. But the problem is their opponents are only obsessed with trying to character assassinate them in these like weak and petty ways. And it's just, why can't someone reasonable talk to them?
Don't talk shit about Stephen Fry, please. I just want to know him from the guy who calls T.I.
I'm not talking shit about him. He was on the side of Jordan Peterson because they represented 2 angles towards the same issues.
I mean, one of the things that I like 100% disagree with, I don't think you can have any moral stand on it, is where Mother's Basement does an example of someone that has different political views than him. Like, what?
What's the political view? What his political view? I just have to ask.
I think he's a feminist.
Is that political?
That doesn't really describe it very well.
That's not really a political view.
It's just someone who is a Holocaust denier. I mean, that's a political view.
Wow. Your existence is a meme.
No, but he was serious.
The problem with Mother's Basement's approach there is he navigates around the fact, but he implies the fact, and it has to be mentioned, that the ability for him to do this sort of thing, of saying, no one should support this person because I think so and so of him, is because actually, even though Donald Trump is president of America right now, in terms of the social media landscape, his political party is in power, ultimately. If his political position was not in power, he would not feel comfortable in saying, boycott this, boycott that, because it normalizes a method which the people who are in power would just use against him, and then he'd be out of a business.
I don't know.
Thing I really hated about that video was when he was saying you should email their fucking employer, get them fired and shit like that. Like, that is literally what feminists do.
That's also what the Gamergate people did and succeeded. But they didn't email about getting people fired, but they did mass targeted campaigns towards advertisers to get advertised. They were largely like Gawker Media.
What did you say?
Oh yeah,
that's like a lot of people do. That's not unique to feminists. It's not something like causally.
It's not unique to them, but it's something they do all the time.
Well, we tend to particularize them because there's a complex in political discussion where we treat our own and the activities of our own side, quote unquote, as often invisible. We don't actually dwell on them as much because they're just the actions that we're going along with. We don't ultimately like. There are a lot of behaviors that when we try to single out, like, oh, feminists do this. No, everyone does that. Everyone of any kind of like passionate opinion of what they're talking about does this. I mean, you could get into some kind of thing where you're saying like, oh, they do it to more of an extent. It doesn't really matter. Everyone does it. And
I think you're missing a lot of nuance.
I think it's more like e-activists are doing this.
Yeah.
What I feel how it should be is employers should not fire their employees for that stuff until they figure out if it actually makes an impact on how much money they are making.
Yeah. What do you think of prime Twitter pervert Melonpan getting fired from his Swiss bank job because they found his Twitter account? Do you know Melonpan?
Terrible.
I know Melonpan.
That is what I hate. Just like,
but he's a legend. He's a legend. He's like an example. If like more than like you take someone like Digibro for instance as a weeb anime person, I would say that Melonpan has 10 times the passion for anime as a genre, as a medium, as a life world, whatever you want to call it. He has much more passion than someone like Digibro, because when he gets fired from his job for being a pervert, he takes it on his chin, carries on. Legend.
I didn't know he got fired.
Great man. There's a Rocket News article.
I think in the case of bank, it's kind of justified.
The thing about Melonpan is I've never could decide, is he joking around or all of those videos serious?
He's a great manifestation for me of the nature of these kind of taboo kind of comedies, which I'm really interested in, like getting to grips with and understanding better. There's the article, I found it.
Yeah. I was thinking it's more than likely ironic, like self-aware, but I was like, I can't tell.
It's a particular kind of irony because I was talking about this. I tweeted out my comment because I did a comment in response to Giguk's fiance made a video on Syscon and the idea of fucking your little sister and sort of stuff like that. And I responded because you talked about Eromanga Sensei and about how the idea of trying to explain Eromanga Sensei to a normal person is just terrible. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the point of Eromanga Sensei. Like there's scenes in the light novel that they're about this kind of shame of trying to explain that you are sure. This is the thing with Melonpan. He is sure and certain that what he is doing to virtual characters is entirely in the virtual. But whenever you try to explain that to anyone who doesn't share that passion for the virtual, they collapse upon it, saying that doesn't make any sense. And you can't. You really there is no common language between these hardcore otaku perverts and the normal world. There's no common language that lets people communicate and explain to each other and discuss it.
To be fair,
okay, Saito Tamaki.
Yeah,
to be fair, it's not hard to explain Eromanga Sensei.
How is Kanagawa Hospital?
You just tell them it's about a little girl that likes dicks and takes off other people's panties.
It's weird. Like I honestly, I started reading Saito Tamaki more after I came to these ideas, and I found him sort of like saying the same sort of things. But it didn't come from him. It's not just simply me reading him and spouting him out. This is what I honestly like. Me growing up as the kind of fan of media I am, I love this space of like taboo and play and sort of pseudo pornography that you get in these sort of things, where it's all about people. It's not simply just the joy of crossing a line and saying, "Oh, look, taboo! I've crossed a line." It's that
how very Puritan.
It's how you do it.
It's a bawdy tension between the idea of, because you get this in in like Little Sister shows, you have to think this is anime, right? So in the world of the anime, the otaku protagonist, when he sees the Little Sister character, on his narrative level, it's a real sister. So it represents for him something that he should not actually transgress into, because he's an otaku. He is a ciscon otaku. His passion is expressly for the virtual sister. But to the audience watching, that real Little Sister character is anime. She's animated. It's a virtual sister.
So what you tell him?
There's this irony where if you are identifying as an otaku ciscon sort of like person with the otaku ciscon male protagonist in any sense at any point, you have this duality where you have to view the sister as both at once real in terms of narrative like level and as virtual in terms of the medium you're interacting with. It's both at the same time, and it's this liminality that just encapsulates the comedy so perfectly. And I think
how's it going, Lucy Gutari?
I think
joking.
It's become a common thing, but I'm so happy it's become a common thing because I love it every time. I love that feeling because I'm not a ciscon at all.
You love your sister?
I don't. I have a real actual little sister. I'm not a ciscon. I don't need.
How old is she?
A few years younger than me.
God.
Okay.
Shut up, Poop.
So here's a question. I was
we're wondering if she's young enough for you to be.
God damn it.
We're at the point of the discussion where the Asian man is asking me how old my sister is. Great.
So I was talking to a friend who lived in Japan for a while on like a English language teaching program. This was I'm sorry, what?
Jet?
I've been offered those as well. I'm considering it. I'm not really considering it very heavily.
Take it.
So okay, and bear in mind, a lot of the stuff he was telling me was anecdotal. I haven't looked into this myself yet. But so I was telling him about Saito's thesis, right? About the whole, split subjectivity, right? There's like the virtual, right, and then the real, and we're able to entertain both, right? Where we can switch on one mode, switch it off, right?
Yeah,
and he bought into it, but he threw this at me, right? He said that, and this is the anecdotal thing, right?
I think everything's anecdotal.
One of the things that he was told by his like native peers over there was that it's a huge problem in Japanese schools where male teachers are increasingly openly talking about the development of girls' breasts and stuff, right? And like they would. It's getting to the point where like they're not even like hiding it anymore. They're like comfortable talking about like, oh, she's developing very nicely, right? And so something he was asking me was like, and I didn't know how to respond to this, was like, is like to what extent, right, is entertaining these virtual fantasies seeping out into
that seeping.
I
if
mean,
you're saying,
when you're going, with so many herbivore men in Japan, can you really be complaining at a time like this?
Yes, you can.
My contention with that
is fundamentally problematic.
Yeah.
Are you
usually what people
Maya stuff?
What people usually do in these sort of discussions is they will take like any kind of media which is potentially problematic, which is all media, but they will take particular things that stand out. Like ciscon things and like perverted anime and etc. And then they will take a real life example of just some that kind of anecdote of like teachers are doing this, and then to immediately leap and say like, to what extent is media informing this or affecting this? Just from that, we don't have data there really to start talking about that yet, because this is teachers acting towards students. We don't know to what degree that they are watching anime, or participating in this media at all as consumers.
No, right, and so Patrick Galbraith has certainly argued against the cathartic thesis, right? That they're using, cis anime to, because we don't, the numbers don't necessarily correlate. It's just, I guess like.
Diamond and Yueno is really good for this.
If the media has taught me anything, is that if anyone talks about breasts, they're an anime fan.
Are you suggesting a more permissive culture or atmosphere about breasts and stuff? And it's inoculated by media? Are you suggesting that? Are you insinuating that?
Another classic example of this is the division, I should say, between like JK culture on the streets of various places in Japan, and how it shares what we could call discursive links. It shares discursive links with that kind of execution of the schoolgirl within anime and the fascination of it. But there are very different angles of perception and treatment of these schoolgirl characters, as we could quote unquote say objects, between these two kind of cultures. In JK kind of cafes,
if you talk about JK and Angel Kosai, you have to consider that sexuality in Japan is actually much different than what we're talking about in the Western supposedly. There's a certain sense of sexless sex in Japan, as in hand holding or handshaking or just exchanging names.
Body contact. Like handshaking events for idols, for instance. That's not something that really makes sense outside of that kind of culture, but it's huge to be able to just touch an idol. My God.
I think it's something like akin to body worship in the BDSM culture.
Very body worship. Yeah. I totally agree.
I think the incels also have body worship.
Let's not bring up the incels. We already brought up Jordan Peterson. Already cursed enough. Let's not go into the incels.
I'm too pure for you guys.
But like the division between, for instance, like JK culture on the streets, and like JK cafes, which are fronts for child prostitution. Some of them. The difference between that and the interface between the male viewer and the schoolgirl character. The object is seen as similar in terms of like nodal properties. It's a schoolgirl, school uniform. There's a kind of purity narrative, all these sorts of things. But the way it's interfaced with is different, and that's very important. The problem is that the manner of interface is what should be championed, and that's the nature of how someone is consuming something. And that is the behavior that manifests the nature of the art itself, because art is for consumption. And the problem is that people will ignore that and instead just look at the nodal similarities, and then they will say, like, well, Japan has this schoolgirl problem with, fronts for child prostitution, therefore we should look more negatively at schoolgirls being such a popular thing in anime. And they, rather than look at consumption as the main thing, they will just look at the nodal properties of the objects involved. And it's a similar problem when we look at, like, Galbraith has written greatly around maid cafes, his ethnographic experience, and he always, every time he writes about maid cafes, I love it, he has to emphasize the difference between the maid cafe establishment and the hostess club, because they're two, just central bodies of social interaction for a lot of Japanese men, but they operate entirely differently. And the maid cafe is not like the host.
Not exactly. The hostess club actually involves a lot around conversation and engaging in social activities, like exchanging phone numbers.
Haven't you seen High School Host Club?
The hostess club is all about
rather than the more direct and bodily stuff.
Within maid cafes, you will find rules that prohibit a lot of behaviors that are normative in hostess clubs, like that exchange of phone numbers, or that the general sense of, like, in hostess club, you go as a group of men and you go and sort of compete socially with a hostess, and you come out with a stronger bond between men. So it's about confirming a kind of hegemonic masculinity, while in maid cafes, it's for quote-unquote failed men to come and find a social place in which they are validated.
For maid cafe, that kind of fawning and competitive nature also happens as well. Multiple otakus chasing around the same maid with SMS messaging or exchanging gifts, or even with Angel Kosai.
So that they can have a reverse
maid cafe actually exists on a concentric system, with maid cafe being more healthy, more on the fringe, more acceptable.
So I wouldn't say, I don't believe Galbraith agrees with that thesis from his experience, at least. Like, what are you speaking out of here? What are your sources on? Because his experience of maid cafes are like, they prohibit things like, if you try to, like, ask for the number of a maid, you get banned.
That's not a very prevalent practice. That's not a very prevalent practice.
Huh.
And because they had to say that, because they have to differentiate for themselves for Hostess Club, because there are different taxation laws. But underneath the table, out of the Tademaya, there are a lot of shady practices that is strangely akin to or similar to the Hostess Club, the culture of Hostess Club, for instance.
What are your sources on this? I'm interested.
Let me see.
This is because, like, as an English language only speaking sort of student, my primary source on this sort of stuff is Galbraith, because barely anyone else writes on it. Because it's a otaku culture. It's common problem with a lot of these things.
I've been to a frequent maker face in Taiwan and Hong Kong and Japan.
Are you talking?
Fox videos too?
Are you talking cross-cultural here? Because I was talking only exclusive to Japan. I'm interested.
No, that happens in Japan as well. Because of work, I have to go to Japan, and there are a couple of Vox video on this, and I think there's a reporter successfully getting a number from a maid or something. Let me see if I can find it. But I first stream of bring up Vox as a source somehow.
I can totally commit to the notion of many maid cafes existing as places within these sort of things happen. The question is like Vox, for instance, they have questionable.
They are very ethnocentric.
Yeah, they have questionable journalistic practices in me. I can very much imagine Vox that what they're looking for when they're reporting on maid cafes is a maid cafe that confirms their biases.
There's some sort of voyeurism, ethnocentric voyeurism to it, which is why I have to bring up my own experience to it. But I should take photos of some signs afterwards in the next trip at least.
That's very interesting. This is very interesting and useful because I didn't know you had this kind of experience.
Yeah, I'm a huge loser. So what? I've got a lot of money as well.
Hey,
most.
Because one of my goals, I guess, when it comes to what I do as fuck it, I finished uni. It's still it's killing my brain. I've actually done my university undergrad degree. I can graduate into the world. I can do what I want as long as I get paid for it. One of my goals is to get into the point where I can follow through the footsteps of someone like Galbraith.
Take the JETS program. Take it. Take the JETS program.
You really recommend it?
Yes, it's very useful, and they're trying to expand it right now. With Abe trying to push English into the curriculum for the new Olympics.
Oh yeah, the Olympics go cultural.
Yeah, because
am I at the age where I'm hitting a cultural gold mine where I can? See, because my
you can do it, Jacko. Because
the problem is the main source of encouragement for that sort of thing.
Anything you put your dick into.
Yes, but the main source of encouragement for going to that sort of thing for me has come from my mother. I'm not on good terms with my mother, so I've had this kind of negative, I guess, stigma against going for it because I feel like it comes out of her it's an automatic thing. You're an English guy, you want to get into contact with Japanese people, just do that kind of program. But it could be.
Jacko, just do it.
Just do it. The JETS program.
You said yesterday. You said today, yesterday.
The JETS program doesn't need much preparation. You knew whether you get it or not in a very short period of time. So yeah, you can apply for it multiple times. They don't keep record for it.
Cool. I could just apply annually.
Jacko, you have a major advantage over me, which is that you don't have an Asian name.
Yes, and you're white, which is a big thing in Japan.
I went to Oxford and studied English. There you go.
They don't even know about Oxford for real.
They don't care. They just care that you're white.
Okay,
yeah.
That's great.
You being white.
I love working with people that care about the color of my skin.
Yeah,
like 1950s. Great.
I mean, when you are part of the superior, no, I'm just.
Demonetized.
Did you know this? Do you want to know the composition of my features? I'm white skin, blue eyes, blonde hair.
There you go. Boom.
Are you sure you're not ginger? I thought you were ginger.
Hitler.
I thought you were ginger.
It's funny enough. I could have gone ginger. Apparently, I could have become ginger. When I was in my early years before I became ginger.
Why'd you turn it down?
I just went strawberry blonde, and now I'm just blonde.
Are you like Uncle Ruckus?
Darkest sort of blonde. And
Like,
it's great. Like
you're
the face thing I have has perfectly cropped out all my hair. I love it. You don't know what my hair looks like.
like you'll be fine.
Yeah, Joe.
You're Gucci.
Joe, look at the comments. Look at the
What?
comments. Joe, performativity part 2.
When?
I'm
Or is
working on
that
it.
Jude knows Asumi Part 2 as I haven't seen it because I haven't
Working
seen
on
the
it.
show.
I mean, you're not contractually obliged
the
to,
lack
but
of a
I pay good money for it.
performativity video is performative in and of itself. There you
I'm
go.
working
Oh
on it.
shit!
Silence is speech.
I mean, I
Silence
like the
is
Shadows of Tsushima.
violence.
So, Joe,
Your absence speaks
Never
thunder.
mind.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be you'll be good to go, Jekko. Because I remember when I first worked at FedEx. There was a lady. She came in to ship documents to Japan, and it was to teach in Japan. And I said, Nihongo hanashimasu ka? And she was like, I don't know what you just said. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, I don't know any Japanese. I was like, oh. Well then.
Wait. Let me. I remember a news in which a Swedish politician, no, is it Swedish? A Swiss politician got imprisoned by entering a karaoke room without knowing that it's a karaoke room, and then imprisoned for a week because no one speaks his language, English, German, French, and not even Flanders. Because no one knows what this guy is until the ambassador comes in.
Wow.
Let me find the news.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I think that
I should look into it. I guess there are other opportunities more locally potentially. There's a media and journalism internship sort of thing that Oxford is running and trying to get more people into that I could also apply for. So
I think Nikkei News is recruiting in your campus too. I thought I saw an ad somewhere.
Which?
around.
Hang on, give me a link.
Nikkei News. Nikkei. Look around to see if there's a poster around it, because Nikkei News are trying to recruit as much.
They're like Japanese Bloomberg /
Not really. They got bought out. So.
Oh. Who bought them out?
Let me see. Someone Rothschild.
Wait, they're a financial newspaper.
Yeah.
Nikkei Asian Review. Yeah.
See, I'm just so out of professional journalism.
Because if you are doing local news, you won't stand a chance because you don't know the language, or you don't know the local culture, or they will presume that you don't know because you're white.
Nice.
Like, I don't know jack shit about Japanese custom. Yes, I was forced to bow and speak in honorific terms because I'm Asian. Fuck this, guys.
I look forward if I can learn Japanese and because the weird thing is so. Part of the reason I got through my degree, and because I got through my exams, and I think my 3 exams went really well, ultimately, which is weird because I revised for them. It's fine. I revised them for a total of about 2 weeks because I needed before then to fix my life habits and sleep schedule to the point that I could actually wake up that early and feel okay and not feel dead inside because my sleep schedule was just whack and stupid before then.
Why don't you just go to the exams without any sleep, like I did?
Because I'm not you. But so I managed to do that, but I only had 2 weeks of revision.
So somebody said, actually, not most of the guys. It's just one guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I got through those exams really well, I think, because ultimately, if I actually find the motivation to want to know something, I'm starting to realize this. It's going to sound like the worst Oxford humble brag probably possible.
Go.
But it's true.
Hit me.
My memory is good.
Eidetic, maybe?
Much better than I think it should be, and I don't know why.
My memory is perfect. I can memorize everything I memorize.
But it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not a photogenic memory though. Another like the cliche is, well, I have a photogenic memory. I look at something, I can just see it, and I can revisit. I have a stupidly strong semantic memory. If I can find a link between any two things, bam, I can remember those two things. I can.
You think like what's the other guy called? What's the other guy called in the hoodie? Like the unknown. Eidetic memory or photographic memory is actually not an ability, but an illness that means that you cannot forget something. But what happens with Jekyll is that he can actually select something that he can remember, i.e., me accusing me of cheating.
Yes, I always remember this.
I watched a documentary about a woman who had like perfect photographic memory, and she was just like depressed the whole time.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. We're made to not remember everything. We're made to be selective. But it is really interesting having this kind of memory, because it's one of the reasons why I should foreground this as my contention with people like the Sakuga community, because the way they are processing knowledge and delivering it does not help me remember it. You're not connecting things. You're not praising it. The Canepa does this too as well. When he delivers information in his videos, he just delivers things as these like exactly stratified per piece of data sort of things. Where like this guy did this guy did that, this guy did that.
The only thing I remember from Canepa is that humping Tyrannosaurus Rex animation.
Like really, I can't. It takes me much more effort.
I don't remember that.
Like, there's this point in his Pop Team Epic video. There's a point in his Pop Team Epic video, for instance, where he talks about the fact that the advertising background that some of the staff came from, or like who were brought onto the show, and my mind immediately leaps and says, "Okay, now you're going to talk about how that's relevant to this kind of very bite-sized comedy kind of format." He doesn't. He just moves on. I'm like, well. It's good I thought about that, because now I can remember it better, because I'm correlating it to all these sort of things, and because all the correlations are mounting in my brain, I can remember it better. But that's the perfect opportunity to start talking about it in act on the fact that we know that it's advertising, so correlate advertising to the kind of fast fire sketch comedy, and just for 5 seconds talk about it. It will help people remember it. He doesn't.
Oh wait, we didn't say goodbye to Monte Cristo.
So, Joe, you forgot about that humping Tyrannosaurus Rex animation that freaking Canepa kept cutting to for about 3 videos?
Uh-huh.
Oh wait, hang on. Joe, does your chat, do the 49 people watching right now, do these people generally like Super Eye Patch Wolf? I hear some people, like, there are a few people talking about him.
I don't know. I don't know what's...
Raise your hands.
Do we because I hate him as a critic.
You can't you can't ask me if I know what my audience wants, because my sub count constantly reaffirms that I don't know what my audience wants.
Nice. Nice.
Late modernity.
It's not bad.
It's not your fault.
It's wrong.
It's actually...
There we go. Slarky hates him. I am mild about it.
It's actually YouTube's fault.
It makes me like. Have you seen Eye Patch Wolf's what is it? What's the film? Akira. There we go. His Akira video, where at some point he just has to go on this tangent where he derides modern anime for pandering to otaku, and apparently according to him, Akira exists in an era before anime started pandering to otaku. Before otaku formed as a collective that made anime pander to them. That's him. Like, take the entirety of mecha history, throw it away. That's his brain.
Okay. I'm sorry. Is there someone pointing a gun at you, forcing you to watch Super Eye Patch Wolf, or are you just doing this to yourself?
I come across it randomly because I still have slightly more free time than I should have.
How do you have the mental fortitude to finish it?
I don't.
Teach me.
I will hit a point in one of his videos where he'll say something so... I think the word is callous. callous is the word. It's so demeaning to the history of what he's actually talking about. But he'll say it, and he'll build something off it, and I'm like, well, if you're building something off it, I can't continue. It's like watching a house. It's like watching someone building a house on jelly. I'm like, this is going to collapse. I know it's going to collapse. I'm not going to watch it collapse. That's just cruel.
Or like when Super Eye Patch Wolf is talking about modern shonen, and he brings up JoJo.
Modern shonen.
Yep. It's not modern, and it's not shonen.
I guess it's just a categorical error, XD.
No, because he goes on a huge tirade
seeing Super Eye Patch Wolf in my YouTube recommendations, that is a categorical error. XD.
He legitly talks about like a huge tangent about JoJo being like a really influential modern shonen.
Shonen.
I don't know. I only have 2 minutes of experience with Super Eye Patch.
What about Tim Rattray's article on how modern otaku can now use the internet to banish the stereotype of otaku being antisocial, forgetting that Nakamori's essays on otaku being antisocial are only as old as the internet itself. Exactly. It's so bad.
Can you tell me why you're laughing at it? Because I fail to get the point.
No,
Thanks.
Tim, in this video, he introduces the internet as like a new invention that... Sorry, in this article, he introduces... It's an article. He introduces the internet as an invention, a modern invention that will permit otaku to have social possibilities that they did not have before and get out of their shells, so to speak. Believing he co-opts the mass media narrative that otaku are antisocial, which was never true in the first place.
Okay, what example is he using? Do you want
to just read the article?
Yeah. Hit me.
No, we don't want to read it. We want you to read it to us.
Because when people are talking about internet as a technology, it's not about the way or the infrastructure of it, but the social institution inherent to it or builds up.
This is more analytical content. This is very bad columnist content.
But is it really econ?
From Tim Rattray. My most recent blog post is about this, so read it. I pinged you with it. Do you really want me to read it out? It might hurt me.
Is this the real econ?
Yes, it is. What's up?
Oh wait, hey
Econ.
Hey guys, long time no talk. Hey Joe.
The pseudo-intellectual club. We're thinking about seeing one of your videos. Do you want to be in on it?
What'd you say?
The pseudo-intellectual club.
What the hell is that?
It's a club full of pseudo-intellectuals.
Okay.
How do we classify pseudo-intellectuals?
The benchmark is me.
Nice.
No, that is literally the title.
The benchmark is Jordan Peterson.
I'll commit myself to your funeral pyre.
Haven't you ever heard of the pseudo-intellectual club?
Dash and Scan says Jekko seems a little judgmental. It's like, thank you. You've been introduced to me. Well done.
Not surprised. He's an Oxford man, after all.
I'm an Oxford man.
A man of strong conviction.
I was like this before Oxford, to be honest. Oxford just galvanized it.
Yeah, I guess that explains the accent.
I do not have an Oxford accent. What?
No. It's because he's Christian and Puritan too.
It's probably because I'm Christian, actually.
What?
Yeah.
It's actually
okay.
I got nurtured in a world where I meant to have this kind of definitive discussion of whatever I talk about, because my views on life come from the Bible, which is a definitive discussion of everything. So
absolutism, hell yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
Christian accent. I have a faith. I'll be around when you're dead. But anyway.
Singularity is Satan's lie.
Yeah.
You can't achieve immortality through any other means than Jesus.
Yeah,
the next world awaits. What we do in this world is merely a form of judgment.
It's quite when I first started blogging, the first people I met that I found were like actually good to talk to were actual other Christians. There's a Christian and a blogging scene. There's like it's a really wholesome community of like Christians who want to hear what other Christians think about in terms of like it's an intersection between actual like character analysis, like normal analysis, but also analysis through the notions of the Christian faith. So it's
the only Christian bloggers I followed before were like William Lane Craig, and I remember there was another guy who did a lot of really interesting film reviews. He was like a professor or something from a Christian perspective.
Yeah,
but
for a second, I thought you implied that William Lane Craig anti-blogged.
I mean, this is like what? I always knew this was a Christian server.
The main place to find this sort of stuff is a community around a site called Beneath the Tangles. Right now, they're the thing is they're lovely people. They're just lovely people, and they're good to talk about anything. So that's why I sort of like fell in with for a while, and just like you're just lovely people to talk about anime with, because this is what if you're like very open about your Christianity and very forward about it, you make that part of your content. It's a kind of life practice to just be nice.
What denomination do you belong to?
Non-denominational. I'm just born again Christian. I would go to any church, and I will like go to a few like sermons, and I will pick up after that. Do we follow similar things? Do we not follow similar things? There are lots of divisions in the church, and if I can find, it's a spiritual thing. It's not an intellectual exercise ultimately.
Yeah, but non-denominational is so non-committal though. That's like the
no. It's
like the agnosticism.
No. It's the biggest commitment of them all, because you have to say that I don't ultimately belong anywhere. Being in the denomination is so much easier. You can relax. You can just say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Baptist," and then any other Baptist you talk to is like, "Yay!" Being non-denominational, you have this commitment to constant confrontation within the Christian community. Everyone you talk to is like, "Well, he's non-denominational. He doesn't. Does he disagree with my denomination?" Then no. And it's this constant struggle. It's the opposite of like non-committal. It's
so
really
wait,
an opposite.
Pork or no?
I speak out of lived experience. It's not fun, but I do it because it's what I believe. I don't believe. There's a point in the Bible where Paul, in one of the letters, actually, I believe, speaks against dominations. He's like, "Why are you saying I believe in this? I believe in that? Don't you all believe in Christ? Why the fuck do we have denominations? What the fuck?" He says that.
Do you eat pork?
About the fucks.
But the Catholics have the best food, you know. So
that's how they get you in.
All that wine.
First they give you food.
All that non-alcoholic Ribena.
Bajeko, what about that time where Elijah sicked a bunch of bears on kids because they called him bald, and how does that relate?
Are we seriously having a religious discussion?
No, are you taking all these? Old Testament stuff is very interesting because.
Okay, but first, Joe, you have to prove why that's objectively bad.
Why?
Why do I have to prove it?
No, he doesn't.
Why do I think that's objectively awesome?
The general answer to discussing Old Testament stuff is it existed in a different covenant between man and God. That once Christ came into the world, you have this new covenant, and that's why trying to consider Old Testament stuff through a new covenant perspective is missing out the idea of the old covenant where things were a bit whacker. I got to imagine what it's like for God. You've created a human species, and all you ask them to do is just be good to me. Just do what I ask. I gave you one simple task. Don't eat the fucking fruit off the tree. There are so many fruit around this garden. Why would you have to eat this fruit? They go and do it anyway. What the fuck?
I can't believe you.
I think the real answer to this question was that the Hebrews had a lot of hashish. So, you know.
The Old Testament is the history of mankind saying "fuck you, God," and God saying, "Well, I guess I will overlook this, but I will smite you a bit for it because you're kind of being a douche." And you know that carries on until Jesus Christ is born, and then they're like, "Hey." But anyway, don't eat the fruit, please. Thank you, Jared.
To be fair, God's pretty happy ever since He invented me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to toot my own horn or be a little overly pretentious, but I'm pretty sure He's happy ever since He invented
Am I alone in interpreting "toot your own horn" as a masturbation euphemism?
No, you're not.
No, it's been used as that for a long time.
Okay, good. Everyone else used it in not in that context I've encountered. So I need
Is that euphemism medieval of origin?
It's kind of is and kind of isn't at the same time. It's like saying, if you say you're tooting your own horn, it's kind of like you're jerking yourself off. It's stroking your ego, stuff like that.
Oof. All these words. So, Jacko, do you believe in Allah?
Oh.
I mean, non-denominationally speaking, the one true God.
I hear he has the best of parties. Always ends in a bang.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. Maybe that's why the Indonesian family.
Live stream. God damn.
Come on.
Maybe that's why the Indonesian family blew up themselves. They want to go on the blame.
If you lose your live streaming privileges, I'll change my Patreon to be $2. No, from $2 to $20.
Okay, I'm back.
Nice.
I'll make up for it. Don't worry.
I pay you $10 per month, and I still receive nothing.
No, you don't.
How much did I pay you actually? How much did I pay you? Let me see. Do I pay 10 to Jacko instead? I pay 10 to Jacko instead.
I'm gonna have to clarify.
Making up money.
I'll have to clarify only if it's due to my fault. You lose your live streaming.
How do you prove that?
I'm assuming if I lose my privileges, they'll vaguely tell me why.
They do. It's very like when I whatchamacallit got my live stream just automatically shut off. I got told why.
Did you talk about Jews or something?
No, it was because there was copywritten music in it.
I paid Jacko 10 and paused in select 5, so that's why I was confused.
That's quite
and to pick fights with people on the internet.
Here's the thing, I think
and on YouTube now. I've joined the YouTube comment game.
Okay, here's what I thought. I thought if all of a sudden you had copywritten music inside your stream, they would just claim it and not stop it. But even if they claim it and not block it at all, it still takes down the stream. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So you can't keep streaming the stream. You have to start a whole new stream. I was like, okay, that's fucking dumb. And I was like, if they are claiming the ad revenue, why not just have them claim the ad revenue for the whole thing? Why the fuck did they have to stop
Can we just take a second to appreciate how far Content ID has come? Like, that they can, like, in 30 seconds or something, just manage through all the noise to pick out one specific instance of copyrighted music.
Actually, technologically, it's not very impressive. It's just an aggregative processing to it. It's just the process in it is aggregative. It's not quantum leap of sorts. They didn't develop the new algorithm, or they just put more process to work.
The funniest thing is that I'm uploading that stream. It was 12 hours long. And the way I'm fixing it is by playing the songs in reverse over the songs that are forward.
Are you uncovering a satanic message?
This sounds like some Dark Side of the Moon shit.
So like, because I can't separate the songs playing forward inside the stream, so I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to play it in reverse over the forward, so now it can't content ID it.
That sounds like the most miserable backing tracks ever.
Yeah.
Can we sing something from 404 now?
Considering there was only 5 songs, you can imagine how often I have to go and do that for a 12-hour stream.
Why do you do this to yourself?
Because it was so funny. I wanted
to do you punish yourself for your own sins for existing, or?
I mean, considering I've been making one video for about 7 or 8 months, yeah, I kind of do.
Oh man, Joe, you gotta learn from this guy. I think you're much more productive.
Wait, what videos do you make? Do you have a channel? I wasn't aware.
Yes, I do. I'm the leader of the Pseudo-Intellectual Club.
Oh shit, let me search it.
Oh, that's an actual thing? I thought you were just joking.
No, it's an actual thing.
Jesus.
The Pseudo-Intellectual
I typed it into YouTube and I was like, oh man, the 4th thing is Jordan Peterson.
Wait, is it something as cringe-worthy as a Dead Poet Society?
No, it's No, my name's the Unknown Otaku. You can literally find it just by
yes,
typing.
It is S. Frenchworthy.
Okay, I came back again. Hello.
Hello.
It's
What
just,
I miss?
it's just a.
You weren't kidding. The second thing is a thing about Jordan Peterson.
Wait, why are we back on Jordan? I just came back.
Yes, in celebration of your odious presence, yes, we talk about Jordan Peterson now.
You replace me with Jordan Peterson? This means a lot.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, to be fair, it is a very good trade.
Damn.
Ooh.
It's as bad as what's boy dab.
Can you
I
dethrone
want to die.
Peterson? I didn't realize he was on a throne. That's weird.
He's on a throne of lies. Maybe not.
I don't know. He's on the throne of patrons and lots of merch, I think.
Wait, he has a Patreon?
And also, yeah.
Wait, why is the thumbnail for this video Shadman?
Jordan Peterson.
That's because
Patreon.
yeah, that's the newest
Jordan
one.
Peterson have a Patreon.
That's the one I was telling you about, the 12-hour live stream, and I only uploaded a couple hours of it.
And the fuck does pseudo-intellectualism have to do with fucking Shadman?
It's the name of the podcast that anyone can join in.
I don't know. I think Jordan Peterson's earning more from Patreon than from his tenure.
We have
Yes,
four.
Jordan Peterson has a Patreon? The fuck?
He's
That's what I just
one
said.
of the highest paid
10,000
patrons.
patrons.
The fuck does he even do? I
Yeah,
guess he's making lectures. What?
Econ, what it is
Is
just
creating lectures about profound psychological ideas.
There you
Yes.
Jordan Peterson, he's cashed in on a gap, and it's a gap that's been created by how our education system has developed, where he's presenting content which encourages at least the idea. I think in some cases, genuinely, in other cases, maybe like fallaciously, sort of. It creates this impression of a space for discussion. And a lot of people, it seems, are coming out and saying, yeah, I don't think I have a space for discussing this sort of thing.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think like Jordan Peterson's a bad person, or
I'm not saying that at all. And
I don't even think he's dumb.
That's one of the reasons why he has a Patreon, though.
I think he's a fantastic rhetorician.
Yeah,
I don't get all the fuss over him. That's what I don't get.
A patron is the reason why he would have a patron. To make logical sense is because a patron is a similar space. It's a space for crowd-funded value for someone. So it's a space of people rather than a sense of a nebulous kind of authority coming in and saying, right, this was declared as good or this was declared as worthwhile, either like ideologically or economically. We have a space where people, the masses, are seeming to declare something, or not have just declare, but have a say in or participation in.
Joe, have you read the book of
dang it.
Where Have All the Intellectuals Gone by Frank Furedi?
No.
Yeah, he talks about the exact situation where our higher education system have created a generation of Philistinism.
Yeah.
And in response to that, the so-called
Gnosticism
genuine or sharing, not a lot of that as well.
Lots of Gnosticism.
So that's a bit like what
I mean, with every generation, there's this sense that intellectuals have gone. I'm sure back in the 1940s and shit, people were like,
when they are killed.
Where did all the professors go? Why are people respecting Edward Murray so much?
If you're asking where all the intellectuals went during the 1940s, they went to make the atomic bomb.
They went to nuke Earth.
So they gave birth to anime in long good. Okay.
So
to be fair, anime existed before Japan got nuked. There was a Momotaro Sea Warriors.
Oh yeah,
propaganda
I'm saying anime as a nodal concept and as a lifestyle today is the nature it is.
I kind of want to see anime in a world where Japan won World War II.
So you can
write that fanfic.
I don't think there will be any anime as we know it. There will be more Walt Disney-ish cartoon.
Japan X.
Like what do you mean? Like Bugs Bunny nips the nips kind of thing?
Yeah. Like more of a Totoro Adventures thingy.
Econ.
More fluid, less economic restrictions.
Well, like a lot of
somebody's been saying my name like in the background for 10 minutes now. Just say what you need to say.
to answer your two questions about the Pseudo Intellectual Club, is that the reason there's Shadman is on top of that anime snob is because we were talking about them during that podcast, and what it is just it's a live stream podcast that anyone can join in. But there's only 4 official members. And your other question about intellectuals dying out, I mean, we still have Colossal is crazy. Does that count?
Okay.
Who the hell is that?
No, I'm just...
Well, like going back to Jordan Peterson though, not that I want, but going back to
I thought we were going back to what if Japan won World War II. Come on, that was an interesting question.
Because
Jordan Peterson.
No, I want to hear about Jordan Peterson because I'm surprised so many people dislike him. I mean,
He made $165,000 last year as part of his salary.
The fuck?
I'm not surprised because a lot of the hype around him is based around kind of rhetoric of counter assassination.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't particularly think he's great or anything. I don't really like the guy, but I think he's respectful. I think he speaks well. Like
people are doing that, and that's causing people to like create more of a noise about it. But I think
Jordan Peterson makes more than $500,000 a year.
Yeah, he's
that's as much as I do.
But I think there are parallels between Jordan Peterson and Digibro, because I think Digibro represents a similar space for people.
They are both men.
No.
They're both white males. Oh my god.
Okay, no.
Great white male. No.
This is why they're opposite.
Has Jordan Peterson ever smoked weed?
Has he ever made a purple filtered video?
Are they both
I'm talking about Digibro, like in the whole history of Digibro last 6 or 7 years, especially Digibro, like the impact he's had on the anime scene, because he's promoted this kind of his whole rhetoric of encouraging people to just come out with their scripts, get a mic, and just record it and come onto YouTube sort of stuff. It represents this similar kind of ideal where there's this sense on YouTube that quote unquote analytical content, we're starved for it. We're starved for real people talking about like ideas in an interesting way. So come on board. And like there are a lot of other content creators. Like I like people like Giga. I don't like people like Super Eyepatch Wolf. But a lot of them share this kind of feeling that they're not actually encouraging people to come on board, to come onto the platform, while Digibro sort of is. And Jordan Peterson is doing a similar thing with these kind of intellectual, profound discussions where because the way he frames his lectures is a lot of Q&A. He doesn't limit it to like the last 10 minutes.
It's very Socratic, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's why like even though Digibro, like he's not making that kind of Q&A style content, he is
actually sort
of like in being sometimes, especially like whenever he's like really obtuse about something, at the same time he is promoting a discussion about it. He does this. His controversy with our anime does this as well. He ultimately is going towards a similar goal of capitalizing on the fact that a space is starved for people wanting to cry out and say like, I want to say something different. And Digibro is one of the only people, especially like 5 years ago, it seems, that was saying do it. And that's why we have what we have now.
You have big ass lungs. You have a lot of speaking capacity. Maybe you should become a preacher.
I mean, the difference between Jordan Peterson...
I know why that is.
Just go to a revival, just like holler for hours, be like, praise the Lord, be healed.
The difference between Jordan Peterson and Digi is when Jordan Peterson plays victims, his Patreon goes up.
I mean, Jordan Peterson also doesn't associate himself with pedophiles, so it's a bit of a different story.
Wow.
I mean, Digi.
Okay, Bardock or Bob.
Digi's Patreon has gone from 4,500 down to under 3,000.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
Well, he hasn't been making as much content since he started talking.
Yeah, that's the major reason.
Because he keeps blaming the fans.
Yeah. I don't like this sort of attitude. Like, I've known Digi for a long time. I'm really good friends with him.
His Patreon started going back up. Now it's barely over 3,000 now.
Yeah.
Okay, good for him.
I didn't care about the fact that Digibro is a lolicon though. Like, cool, sure. Okay.
I don't think anyone cared.
Some people care. Some people care, but I think people.
But they have to care because they have these power trips over people for their fans.
Yeah, they were just looking for something to get mad at, right?
It's like if someone was into ABDL, it's like, sure, thanks for clarifying.
What I meant is this: I don't think anyone that patroned him cares about him being the lolicon.
No, people care about the fact that he's not making as much content and he's smoking too much weed. To be fair, though, he's been busy lately with like what's it called? Huh?
Human content.
He's actually been like busy moving. But like aside from that, yeah, he probably smokes too much weed, and that does definitely affect your productivity
and
he
your
says
brain.
It makes him more productive.
Huh?
He says it makes him more productive.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I know the guy. It doesn't make him more productive.
Animemanipulated.com.
That's why he made that video all talking about weed and why he's more productive with weed and why he does everything with weed now because it makes him.
And now
and he's released like one video in the past month or something. So obviously that's not true.
Did Davoo edit that video too?
That would be sad because it had no editing.
Yeah, I'm just feeling for poor Davoo. You know, the guy's got to eat. When Digi's making less content, I'm kind of like, what is?
I mean, I don't think
keep imagining Digi's got Davoo chained in his basement.
That's sort of how it is.
In all honesty, I do like the purple filter just because anything that covers up that face is a good filter.
Oh, that's mean. That's mean. That's mean.
No, I'm just
messing. Come on. Nobody on anime YouTube is gonna be that pretty. Otherwise, we show our faces.
Lost Pause.
Who the fuck is Lost Pause?
Wait.
Pause is like
don't click on that. Bad version of Melon Pan.
Lost.
You are encouraging me.
Lost Pause is like a manipulative monster, man.
Why do you say that?
He's cute. He's pretty cute.
Lost Pause is the cool Japan effect in action.
I mean, I look good.
He's kind of cool Japan.
No. He's not the cool Japan effect. That cool Japan was too recent for this guy. This guy was like Danny True, Otaku back in like 2007.
Cool Japan was too recent. Cool Japan's been going for a while. It's just it only got really officially named Cool Japan more recently.
Yes, obviously, but it was a government initiative, and before that they had cultural ambassadors and shit like that. No, what I'm saying is the guy is obviously the product of like late 2000s. What's it called? The Danny True push. That's what I call it. When like otaku culture was
maybe what you call it. I like calling it something more broad in general because it's more accessible. But okay.
Yeah, but that makes it because Cool Japan has a government association, right? This wasn't really a government association. This was a lot of companies trying to market to the West.
That's one angle to it, but I more broadly see it as a general sort of both like the government because the government picked up on it as something to associate themselves with and push because it was.
Then retroactively using the label the government gave
they discovered it was
is a little bit like
it's like saying calling all gravitational forces gravity as a Newtonian association, and they were like it was gravity before he called it gravity. It was Cool Japan before someone called it Cool Japan.
No, it's like calling like religious donation social. You know what? Who gives a shit? I don't care. Call it whatever you want. This is dumb semantics.
Thoughts on H bomber?
I'm a linguist. I think it's interesting semantics.
You're all falling into Matey's trap by talking about this.
Wait, are you a linguist?
Didn't Jacko make a point about talking about stupid people gives them more social capital? Thinking emoji.
That's why I get people to talk to me because I am stupid. Ultimately, there you go.
So wait, are you a linguist or a priest or whatever? I can't tell.
I've just finished an undergraduate degree in English where I have done a mixture of medievalism, linguistics, and a bunch of other stuff. But
yeah, basically a degree in English doesn't mean anything.
I was really surprised because like that entire sentence you said that, Jekko, I was just like, he's gonna say he's from Oxford.
I didn't.
He was using an Oxford accent.
Because almost everyone here already knows that, so it's only information for one new person, and it's a rhetorical thing. If one new person joins the discussion and you reiterate something to the whole group that that person knows, it's a kind of singling them out. Like they need to know this too. Everyone needs to know this. I don't care.
Is that a linguistic feature?
I feel like English at Oxford would just be wanking over Chaucer for like. I don't know. 4 years.
Do you want to know a fun fact about one of my medieval papers, like the main one that all courses do? There's a compulsory section on Troilus and Crusader by Chaucer. So there you go.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
You do wank over Chaucer.
How much Nordic epic have you read?
Nordic what?
Epics have you read?
Yeah. I did a whole paper
you have
on
the memory of them.
I did a paper on romance, so I looked at Arthurian chivalry, Norse, Icelandic, sort of sagas.
I don't know. I don't feel like the old Nordic stuff is very fun to read. They're probably better. They're probably better if you knew the original language.
But this is mythology. This is mythology.
Yeah.
The fun is not simply the reading of it by the author. The fun is in the telling. It's mythology. Neil Gaiman does a great thing for this, like making this case and just.
Oh my god! Okay, here we go with the fucking Neil Gaiman, the Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman.
Oh my god!
He recently released.
I want to fuck that. Oh, blah blah blah. Neil
Come
Gaiman,
on, hear him out, Deacon.
No. He's made his statements about Neil Gaiman. Obviously, this man cannot tolerate the mention of a name before going into this kind of tirade. So
man, Jacko, you're picking up Midwestern accents now. You've lost your accent. You've lost your Oxford allure.
No. Nothing to be gained from pursuing this. Englishy accent than never before.
Gaiman.
Midwestern as fuck. Are you from Peterborough?
I'm from. I'm close enough.
No, saying this is a lot of rough part.
Who else? Okay, what else do we have here?
Thoughts on H Bomber Guy? None. And that's why I want to
finish that.
Oh, hang on, I need to close my window.
H Bomber Guy.
Who is that?
Some YouTuber.
I literally only watch Mugumoku. Okay. And like occasionally how to edit videos by like 14-year-olds.
It's apparently British summertime now, I think, starting soon at least, or it started now.
Daddy long legs.
The rain outside is louder than my like max volume headphones, so that was terrifying.
Why does he make so many videos about soy boys?
This because he is one. Now, here's the thing about H Bomber Guy. I've seen 5 of his videos, and I've hated all of them.
Nice.
And
wow, Jacko's really just throwing down his association right there.
Nice.
Like, nice.
Thing is, okay, the first one I saw was his video on Dark Souls.
The Dark Souls of Dark Souls video.
And that video was just so bad, but it eventually made me found Malur, who did a 9-hour deconstruction on his video of Dark Souls. It was a 9
hours. I can't really count it as a deconstruction. It's not
more of it was just a very long string of responses showing why H Bomber Guy was wrong in every aspect of his video. 9 hours long.
Why did people do this? Why?
It was entertaining as hell. It was amazing.
Bryce's maximum.
I feel like the moment somebody makes a video devoted to like countering every point, I feel like they have a chip on their shoulder.
Oh, that's the entire channel of a guy called Rags. Don't watch it.
The moment you're just like, everything is wrong.
I don't necessarily think so. I think like
I love Rags.
If you're gonna really break something down like that, arguing for arguing's sake could be a lot of fun.
It's very entertaining
for the audience.
He does it. It wasn't
for the audience. The audience loves that shit.
Malor's 9-hour expose. It's amazing.
Sure, but otherwise.
In fact, Malor always has extremely long form content. Like he did. Malor's the one I just said he did the 9-hour long video on H Bomber Guy. He also did like 6-hour long on the Last Jedi movie.
Is he a modern Sisyphus?
I don't know.
Did he enjoy pushing boulder only for him to be wrote down?
It's crazy because all of his videos are at least like an hour long.
He's making an extra effort critiquing basically a fountain of stupidity.
Why? Ever since he did it on the Star Wars, I've been subscribed to him since he was like at like 9,000 subs, and then he did it on the Star Wars, and all of a sudden blew up to about 70,000 now.
Wow.
He would love Sisyphus. Yeah. He would love Camera Lucidia.
Yo, I love Camera Lucida, my dude.
Yeah, but you can't edit shit.
I do have to say though, I've had a change of heart about like, YouTubers like this after watching some H Bomber Guy or whatever, and Giguk and what's it called, like all these big anime
shit on my man Giguk.
No, I don't. I'm not shitting on him. I had a change of heart. I used to dislike the guy, and now I really like him. I mean,
bring the drama alerts guys in.
No. I've come to, after making some videos of myself, I come to really admire these guys. Granted, I still don't think they have anything that valuable to say.
If someone is pointing a gun at you, take once.
The value of Giguk is not Someone disliked this live stream. What the fuck? So the value of Gigguk for me is not at all in like analytical content or anything like that.
No,
it's the fact that he is the execution of fandom passion, his own honest fandom passion. Infinitely better.
And I think that's what connects with people. Like you can make videos, really interesting videos all day long, analytical, deep, insightful, and there's another element, a rhetorical element to it, and you have to be a good speaker, and you have to be good at connecting with people, and honest and sympathetic and relatable. And if you're just speaking in nothing but like graduate level terms and bringing up books that nobody's read, looking at you, Joe, like nobody's gonna respond to that because they're not gonna
do what I want.
Understand it on it.
He will do what he wants,
right?
I mean, doesn't Jordan Peterson have passion in what he says?
No, I think it's the same with Jordan Peterson. It's that he brings things down to a level that a lot of people can relate to,
and be passionate about,
and be passionate.
I feel that passion is accessible too.
Oh, so that's why he's a good anime fan.
So, like, you can complain about YouTubers not making very interesting content, but the point is, like, there's more to their content than just the thesis and what they're trying to say. It's about how they say it, right?
Would you agree, Econ, that like anime YouTube over the last few years has grown, especially I think it's hitting its peak now into this landscape where like Gigguk stands out to me as interesting because he's not analytically profound or complex, but he gets across a passion so well. But a lot of analysts, I feel they're trying to get across their quote-unquote passion through this idea that you must, if you are passionate about something, you must understand it deeply. You must prove you understand it deeply. You must create analysis. Analysis is the performance of passion. First of all, I fucking hate the term analysis. I hate fucking Digi for making it a thing now. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
It's funny. Digi says analysis on YouTube are now the worst type of content.
Yeah, exactly. The point is,
move beyond his habitus.
The word for this should be editorial. That's what these are. They're fucking editorials. Why the fuck are we calling it
talking about Nino like that?
Huh?
Nino naming his stuff anime editorial.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, well, Jimmy's dead as shit, so who cares?
Jimmy from the Jimmy JJ with his you know what? I'm not gonna say his live streams.
Slippy Jimmy.
Let's not talk about those.
But like I personally like that sort of content. I like editorials. I like digesting opinion. I've been a subscriber to The Economist for about 12 years now.
I think the fact of it is we talk about YouTube analysis as like it's a product where it's actually just it's a method. It's a method how you create an editorial. You do analysis. You do
exactly
within the thing. But the thing itself is that when we call it, this is analysis. My 20-minute video is analysis. But that's a generalization. Like some of it's just very fluff. Some of it's you advertising Naruto online. It's like don't call it just analysis.
Like yeah, exactly. I don't disagree with that.
Like
hey.
Like when you talk shit about Naruto for like 3 years and always talk shit and saying it's the worst thing ever, and then all of a sudden Naruto Online sponsors you, you're talking about it as if it's the best thing ever.
Wait, has anybody actually done that? Oh, I don't.
I'm not going to name names.
Am I coughing? That's weird. Sorry.
Who?
Go on.
Cough again.
Actually, you say that now. That's funny. You say that now. That reminds me. There's more than just one person that's done that.
Cover's basement.
Like again. Like I don't begrudge these guys. Like I don't even feel bad that they're selling out.
The money.
Like, yeah. I mean, if I was in that position, I might do the same thing. But it's like, after making these videos, I can be fairly certain that the things I have to say are more interesting and more thought out than someone like Mother's Basement. But I wish I had that voice. I haven't I've practiced my tools for debating and arguing and dissecting things, but I haven't practiced my way of verbalizing it and speaking.
You get video editors to do your editing for you, right, Econ?
Huh?
Yeah, but here's what I would recommend you do, because I'm going to do this. I'm taking a crash course in a variety of things now that I'm free from uni, and I'm going to like work hard at them as my kind of work for the next couple of years, on top of actually having a normal job.
Aren't you going to grad school? I thought you were getting a master's.
I'm not going straight into grad school. I'm too burnt out from actual academia to like do that mental health sort of stuff. I want to live life outside of education for like one point in my life. Holy shit! I haven't done anything but education in my life so far. I've just realized it's stupid.
You sound, very, very willing, Christopher McCandless.
Thank you. No, I recommend because I'm going to do this. I'm going to hopefully enter the YouTube scene sort of stuff at my own point in a couple of years. I could enter it right now. I have my scripts. I could get a slightly better microphone than this, and I could record myself. And you know how I could record. I could record fine. And then I could.
Okay, fine. You go.
I could record myself, and I could just hire an editor, put together an anime clip montage for me, upload a video, bam, I got a channel. I could do that. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to spend 2 years actually learning video editing.
Okay, if I were you, my career path is something like this. Apply for a local Tory or whatever party you're in, apply for the research associate post, and then jump to the FCO after a year or so. Use the FCO post to go to Japan or wherever places you want to be in, and then start from there.
What I was trying to say is YouTube's only going to be harder and harder to join.
Good point.
It's only going to get harder and harder. You need it. If you're going to do it, you should do it sooner rather than...
No. I want to wait because to join now with just my script writing sort of stuff and what I do, I don't want to do that. I want to intersect audio and visual myself. It's an audio-visual medium, the video essay. I want to be in control of everything. Then I can actually communicate myself.
I think that's a bit mistaken. What's it called? Something I was speaking to the anime man about earlier was that nowadays lots of people are watching less YouTube videos and listening to it a lot more. So that's where I think the whole speaking thing comes in very useful. Like, yeah, I'm not a great speaker. What's it called? I don't think you are either. I don't think a lot of YouTubers are, and I think that's something you really should practice. And when you listen to somebody like Gigic and like you hear him and it sounds so natural, well, it takes a lot of work to sound that natural. You know, sometimes.
I'm not talking right now as if I was recording stuff. I've done that before. I've done various things like that in my life. I'm okay.
Okay, that's fine.
United Anti-Tube Front.
Do you do ASMRs in your part-time?
No.
ASMR
would kill you. I think it's mistaken that everyone just jumps in just with their scripts and just hires editors. So I don't like that culture.
Are you trying to say that YouTube's a visual medium and you can't 100% convey a visual medium just by hiring an editor for $20?
I would say it's more productive to be in control of the visual component.
No, I'm making a joke because another person has said that before.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I think having another mind on the project really helps.
Not to suck Demolition's D's dick too much, but
the other thing is, it would at least take me another couple of years to become fully, because that's my barrier for after 2 years, I'll see where I'm at and see if I feel like going back into academia. I'm not going to think about going back into academia before then at all, because I'm just going to desync from being hyper burned out from academia. So I don't want to just jump into...
Oh my god, you finished an undergraduate degree. What the fuck does that constitute for a hyper burned out from academia?
I'm not going to respond to that. That's just insensitive. But
yeah, okay, I apologize if that was insulting.
Okay, Econ, what does your grad degree do? I'm interested now.
I'm not in grad school. The fuck are you talking about?
Okay, then why do you talk about it in such a nonchalant way?
What?
Why do you talk about it? Like it's a breeze or something?
Do you know how many?
I'm not saying.
Do you know the percentage of people who suffer from mental health issues at Oxford? They're going through our degree system, the high pressure sort of situation it places people in. In most universities, it's 1 in 4 people suffer from some kind of mental health thing annually, and in Oxford, that's doubled and a bit more.
Oh yeah, sure.
A couple people in the year below our English department constitutes only a handful of people, a dozen each year, maybe less. I think the year below me is less. It's only 7 people. I think 3 of them have suspended their courses for a year. They've suspended for the time being.
I think you're misunderstanding my point. I'm not saying that undergrad isn't stressful. Undergrad was stressful for me too.
You responded to me talking about my mental health by saying...
I did not say anything about you talking about mental health. You said you were burned out on academia. My point was that undergrad, I don't think necessarily counts as academia. You're not writing scholarly articles or something. Granted, maybe that's different in Oxford.
Anyway,
moving
on.
Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. Guys, got 5 minutes.
Oh wow, okay.
That's
Yeah,
time to plug our Patreons.
where are we on before that? I'm not plugging my Patreon. I'm not that much.
What if Japan won
People
World
find
War II? What would it do to anime? Yes, let's talk about
Oh
it.
yeah, let's go back to that. World War II. If Japan had won World War II, what would anime be like? What would we have?
If World War II actually happened, what would the world be like?
Damn, I would love to live in that world. Imagine that. Fancy that. I can scarcely imagine another world war after the Great War. With all the institutions and stuff.
Some of the questions that are being asked to you, pause and select.
You just say, I can't imagine a world war after the Great War.
Yes. I firmly believe in President Woodrow Wilson's 12 points of agreements. Can resolve all kinds of differences in Middle East.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got 4 minutes.
ASMR analysis of Death Note in Jungian perspective.
Okay, Joe, we have to talk about your alter ego, Disc 147.
I'm not.
The fuck is Disc 147?
I'm not Australian.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I can't be entirely sure.
Who's Disc 147?
Amazing. He's Pause and Select's alter ego. That's how I describe him every time, and I'm never changing that.
He's an Australian guy.
That's why I said it's your alter ego.
What?
You wake up as this 147 and then turn into Joe, or is it the other way around?
That's right. I become Asian all of a sudden. Very transformative.
Oh
Cool
my
Japan
god!
effect.
Look at how many videos this guy's made.
Who?
Yeah.
Disc
This?
147.
This is why he doesn't make Perfect Prototype 2.
Here's the
I'm too busy on this alter ego.
okay, fine. Okay, fine, Pause and Select. Joe.
100 subscribers,
I got my-
44 videos.
I got my not so updated scale, although it needs to change. The more I watch Super Eye Patch Wolf, the worse I'm starting to think his content is, though.
Why? The more I watch Super Eye Patch Wolf, the better I think his content is.
This is why we disagree on a lot of things.
Well, like I
a
said,
lot of things.
like I said, I don't think it's just about.
a lot with my voice. Am I doing that correctly? A lot. There we go.
It wasn't until freaking I talked to Rika Fag that I started noticing the problems in Super Eye Patch Wolf's freaking content.
What's the problem?
Wait, do we have time to get into that?
Probably not. It's probably not worth it.
You got 10 minutes. Everybody, okay, 10 minutes, and I'm just going to shut the stream down.
Okay,
I mean,
10 minutes. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for being so
already
graceful and merciful.
How do you have the mental
You
fortitude to
smarmy
listen to his
son
video?
of a bitch.
What?
How do you have the mental fortitude to finish watching anything from him? Teach me.
What? Who?
He has too much spare time, unlike us, because we have lives.
Do you
What are
want
you talking about?
You
Wait,
want to
who do you have the mental fortitude to finish watching? What are you talking about?
Like, finish watching Super Eye Patch Wolf, anything from him.
I
How do you
think,
have that mental
like I
fortitude?
said, I think he's a very persuasive speaker. I don't necessarily think his videos are all that well written, and sometimes topics just seem out of his depth. Like compared to the Simpsons video he made, like the One Punch Man video he made, one of them he clearly has a better understanding of the subject matter. But I do, yes, obviously, but I do think he presents one, a valuable perspective as a Western animator. Two, I think he's a very eloquent speaker. Again, like I said before, it's a big part of it is about the presentation. Your points could be the most interesting and well-written in the world, but if you don't have a soft, soothing voice like Giga or Mother's Basement or Eye Patch Wolf or whatever, then people are just going to be less inclined to listen to you. It's
Isn't
like
this just a very large cell phone?
Huh?
No, go on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my cell phone, sorry.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, again, I'm not judging these YouTubers based on how analytical or well thought out these points are.
No, I'm thinking about presentation as well, because every line,
I'm very nowadays my understanding has shifted to more that
every line from Eye Patch Wolf sounds like a car commercial, like he's selling Tesla or something.
Okay, that's
Wait,
fine. What's it called?
This
Car
rhetoric is
commercials
not
are
good.
effective. They speak to people.
Are you
know?
telling me Super Eye Patch Wolf is not sponsored by Elon Musk?
Oh yeah, you.
No, didn't he change his name or something? No, that was Grimes. Grimes changed her name because she was dating Elon Musk. What the fuck?
Who?
Like
Grimes, the singer.
Oh,
She's
Grimes!
dating-
Wow.
Yeah, she's dating Elon Musk, and because of that, she changed her name to C. Her name is C now.
Hey Joe, do you want to put it
know
on the
about
screen?
You guys got
It's
10
true.
minutes.
Ah, I thought I was being bamboo-toed. It's fucking true.
Hey,
Yeah, I know,
Joe,
That's
right?
terrifying.
Joe,
Okay.
do you want to put it on the
Hey,
screen?
that's fucking hilarious.
No, I'm just gonna leave the text chat on.
You
the
need to
screen.
interpolate what I mean by terrifying
Right.
in your own time. Anyway,
You mean interpret?
Yeah, I was
Good
like,
interpolate.
interpolate?
The only reason I don't have Econ on here is because I wanted to judge at least 4 videos, and I haven't seen Darling in the.
oh yeah, I mean
I haven't
interpret.
seen his newest video yet, so I'm like, I need another
Interpolate
video.
is a concept from
I need,
Officer.
yeah, I need to go watch Darling in the Franxx.
I'm tired. I juggle words
in video.
sometimes. Anyway,
okay.
Let's take off.
Because I do know there was a lot of people that disagreed with Econ's video on Darling in the Franxx.
Oh yeah, but that's not. I don't think that really has, because I think the point of the video, you know,
No,
you
they
can argue
disagreed
against
with-
that.
Hello.
They disagreed
Econ-
with the points.
Econ.
People are generally more likely to argue against something that's popular, right? Because this is very much going against the flow with how popular Franks is.
No,
Econ.
what I was saying is like they
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, what you were saying
No,
It's
from what I,
Ratatouille a mecha show.
is what?
It's Ratatouille a mecha show.
Is what a
that's
mecha
my
show?
joke. Fuck you,
Is what a mecha show?
Ratatouille. Best mecha.
Now that you mention it,
Give me one simple answer. Yes
My
or no.
content.
I'll say yes. Yes, it is. Ratatouille is about a mecha show.
Econ.
Okay.
You know what's funny?
And to prove that, I will cite Fighting Foodons, which was a cooking show that did have mecha.
Go fighting food on. That's the name I have heard.
Oh, I thought it said Fighting Fudas. I was like, is that a hentai? Fighting Fudas?
There is not much Futanari hentai.
Yeah,
like,
there is.
animated.
Yes, there
What
is.
hentai?
It's not much.
What hentai?
The best hentai in the world is a futa. It's called
It
Black
is,
Black.
true, but I don't find much of it.
Are you complaining that there's not enough futa hentai?
I'm not exactly necessarily complaining. I'm just stating that I believe there is. I mean, it's a feat in and of itself and a demonstration. It's still kind of a niche community. I mean, Lolicon is a more popular tag on most dojo reader sites.
Wasn't there
Futanari.
that guy who gave a lecture at Google a couple years ago about like futa? And it was, I remember watching it. It was like super interesting. It was talking about like the reasons why people are attracted to that sort of thing. But at the same time, it also sounded like a guy trying to justify him to himself why liking traps isn't gay.
Ooh.
These are different things, but okay.
Yes,
Man,
yes,
you're
they're very
really
different
good at
things.
mixing up problems.
You know, Econ, what's funny is everyone around me found you in the same way and thought the same thing. That
What?
we found you on Jimmy's channel, and almost none of us liked that video.
Mhm.
And then we all found your Twitter and all your other shit. And it's like, oh no, he actually is really good at his opinions. And then we found your channel and liked your channel. But then apparently a lot of us have seen Darling in the Franxx and they don't like your Darling in the Franxx video.
This doesn't fit my experience at all.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, again, people have different opinions. The way I see Franks is, like I said in the video,
We
I don't
live in a
begrudge,
society.
I don't begrudge anybody for liking the show. I honestly, I kind of like the show.
No, they
I
don't
saw-
like the show either. They just don't like your points.
Okay, what's it called? And they're free to comment or argue or something.
Oh, don't
I mean,
worry.
once you watch the video, what's it called? I would very much like to hear your opinion on it. Then we can have a discussion whether you agree or disagree.
Yeah, I will one day. You know what? We could do one better. Do you want to be invited on the Pseudo Intellectual podcast?
I don't know. What's it called? Does that mark me as a pseudo-intellectual?
No. Only the people that actually join are.
Yeah, sure. What's it called? You have my Twitter. DM me whenever you do that thing.
Okay, because I know there's 4 people in the club. Me, Mr. Cynical, Plot Progressor B, and Necro 13.
I don't know any of those people, but
you don't know Mr. Cynical, who's Rika Tag, the Star Wars person. Fucking
nope, never heard of these people.
Okay.
Something you have to be very much aware of is I don't really pay much attention to anime YouTube or Twitter or whatever.
Okay.
I really don't care. As far as I'm concerned, I hate my own channel. I hate the fact that I'm making videos. I'm doing it out of a sense of social responsibility.
Okay.
Are you Shinji?
Huh?
Are you Shinji?
What's it called?
The self-hatred is such a nodal concept.
No, I mean
anime life.
Self-hatred, but I wouldn't be like Shinji style self-hatred. I'd be like, are
you in the International Space Station now?
Like the kid from Tetsuji Nimarugo, I forget his name. That kind of self-hatred. The cool, suave self-hatred, you know?
The cool kind of drinking, the self-destructive.
Yeah, the cool kind of drinking.
Alright, you have 4 minutes.
Wow.
You're like a TV crew member. I like it.
Any loose plot threads we should tie up? Any loose plot points that were left hanging before that we should close out?
Why do you refer to them as plot points?
So, Joe, you really like philosophy and all that stuff, right? And ideology.
Why do you assume I do?
Question mark.
Why do you assume I do?
Because that's your.
Where did that come from?
Because he sounds smart, and obviously smart people like philosophy, right?
Yes.
I'm not a philosopher.
Are you sure? I mean,
I don't have any training in philosophy. I'm a critical theorist.
I mean, you didn't invent aquatheism.
God damn it! That's a banned word.
The fuck is that?
How do you spell aquatheism? I need to know.
The fuck is aquatheism?
All right, this conversation is over.
No, okay, fine.
No, please,
back to what
enlighten me. You're a professor. Teach me about aquatheism.
Back to what my question was going to be. What's your thoughts on MGTOW then?
Now, I'm very curious about aquatheism now. I want to hear that from
God damn it.
I need to know about aquatheism.
Conversation's over?
Please,
no,
come on.
Wait, at least do the thing I said.
I'm coming to you. This is office hours. Please teach me about aquatheism. Because I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Have you seen the interview where Pauses Select mentions aquatheism?
What the fuck? I'm so confused right now.
It's a joke, and this joke has gone too far.
Got it.
It was a joke. This joke went too far.
Can you explain the context of joke that's killing it?
It's funnier for me because y'all don't know what it is.
I'm going to make it entirely. Infelicitous.
Is it a pause and select finger box thing?
No.
What I was trying to say is, what's your thoughts on MGTOW then?
Well, this is the end. Thanks everybody for.
Yeah, come on, I asked a legitimate question.
Thanks everybody for being here. For next live stream, which I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yay!
It will be as bad.
The
next one will be as bad as this one.
Subscribe to Pause and Select, and his alter ego Disc 147.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Let's go with
Remember
that.
to think about aquatheism every day.
I like how subscribe is an auto hidden word for messages in this chat. I have to